Groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money.
At the Christ on time, then it be the Nigeria game.
Yeah, man.
The call up time.
Yeah, man.
Then the clubs boom. They tell me
He
the
said,
players they come. I say
Like this one, if the GFA they say, if you want to talk to me directly and stop beating about the ball.
Before the after the Nigeria game, the World Cup, the players started announcing that
they've been called.
Chalet.
Then the call up look.
The call up
when they started to take the list confused.
But you see, sometimes they forget that we are friends with some of these players. So they will even tell you that Chalet have been called up.
See, even beyond who we know, the national team, a maximum of 16 to 18 players will feature in the entire tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of that 16 to 18,
We can predict.
we know 15.
So at least if the 8 players, 9
No,
players.
even,
it's not eight.
even when it comes down to top teams,
Yeah.
like Real Madrid,
Yeah.
Bayern.
Yeah.
In fact, the 14 they play today, Arsenal.
Yeah.
We could almost predict them a lineup.
Yeah,
I think
they are-
you know them are injury problems. We could almost predict it.
Yeah.
I'm sure the only position where we were like, Charlie, you don't know who is starting might be Valverde
Yeah.
at right
You're gonna
back.
get like 8 out of 11 right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you
minimum
know,
8
say,
out of
oh, Chameni is not playing. Definitely
The
Modric.
only
will
thing that will
have
keep you on your toes, maybe Pep Guardiola, the time where they do
get correct. Everybody be fit.
Everybody
no.
fits though.
The way they think that too much, like the Champions League final against
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Play them in silver first night.
Like the Champions League final against Chelsea.
Yeah, you know that kind
Oh,
of
say,
thing.
oh, Charlie Pep overthink. He lied bad.
Yeah.
It was N'Golo Kante. It was N'Golo Kante.
Charlie, good with sound.
Charlie,
Asaka, are we good?
Are you good with sound?
somebody they blend tomatoes. Make it blend.
Is it we're alive?
Slim.
We are actually live, man.
Chalet.
Anyway, we're live. It's watch along right here on Mallam Go podcast. So I'll see you guys on. Oh yeah, we are live. We are very much live. So drop your comments. Let me know your predictions. We're actually doing the 2 games. You're going to be watching that Arsenal game in London against Real Madrid, and then there's also Bayern Munich in Germany playing against Internazionale Milan. So those are 2 cracking games that are coming up today. I've got guys who will be here with me to talk you through what is happening, all the goals, all the action, all the controversies. We'll be talking about them. So some of them will be paying attention, even though we're seeing both games. Some people will be paying attention to the Bayern Inter game, and when anything happens, we'll go to them, they break it down for us. And then others will be paying attention to the Arsenal and the Real Madrid game. Bill, I'll put you on the Bayern.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Charlie.
So yeah. Anyway, so I've got Victor Chitaboklu with me, I've got Felix Trumac, and I've got Bill. Guys, big night, massive night. This is the night all of us football fans want.
I beg, subscribe and share the link. Share the link.
Yeah,
Share the link.
share the link.
Share the link.
Quick,
Champions
quick,
League
quick,
hour.
quick,
Share the
quick,
link.
quick.
Champions League hour. Share the link.
Share
Share
the
the
link.
link.
Share the link.
Sharp,
Share the link. Yeah,
Today, one of my accusers is finally here. I'm waiting for him.
it's an accuser.
Oh, you see the gentleman.
Oh, wow.
Greeting everybody.
Coach Nimle
Before
is
he
in the
comes.
building.
Coach.
I'm waiting for him.
Well, so yeah, that's what we'll be doing. And so, guys, let's get straight into it. We've got a couple of minutes before the game starts.
Look, big game
Yeah.
for Real Madrid especially. I think that this is a very different contest as far as their knockout games are concerned. You know, before Man City faced Real Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti indicated that he said this is where our season
Why
starts.
you do cross camera like that? You can't let you do cross camera. Lumo!
He said, this is where
Go
our
over
season
there.
starts, and that presumably their performances were going to improve.
Yeah.
And it did improve against Man City over the 2 legs. But since then, they've not really looked the part. I think the last 3 games they've played really have summarized everything they've been this season. They've conceded 8 goals in the last 3 games. Performances have not been great.
Yep.
Lost to Leganés,
Valencia, we're not having a great season.
Nearly.
Actually, I'll come back to us to talk about that game. I think it's
Yeah.
just proper that we go through the lineup. Let's
Right.
get a fair idea of
Yeah.
how the teams are lining up.
Right.
Let's start off with that game they are talking about, Arsenal playing against Real Madrid. So, very high imposed as expected. Timber starts on right back. William Saliba will partner Kiwior in centre half. Luis Kelly will play on left back. Midfield 3 is Martin Odegaard, the captain, Thomas Partey, and Declan Rice. Then Bukayo Saka is fit. His first start since his injury. Mikel Merino will be the number 9 for Arsenal tonight. Gabriel Martinelli will wing or flank Merino with Saka. Then for Real Madrid, a couple of changes though in the side because of some of the injuries they have. Thibaut Courtois returns to the goal. He's imposed today. David Alaba will start at left back. Rudiger Opana Asensio in centre half. Valverde has been deployed on right back. There is Luka Modric, Camavinga sitting at the base of midfield. Up front, it's going to be the front four of Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, topping it up with Kylian Mbappe. So that is how the two teams have lined up today for this fixture. We don't have much time, so we'll take, quick thoughts on that one. Let me hear from Bill on this one. Arsenal's team, you've got injury worries. You don't have any striker. You don't have your if you like, in my opinion, your best centre back this season, Gabriel, in there. Yeah. How does that affect the team's balance or the team's strength going into this game?
Yeah, it affects the team's strength when it comes to finishing off chances. We've seen Arsenal struggle to finish off a number of chances, even with Havertz in the team, scoring just about 56 goals in the Premier League this season. And so even without having him and having to rely on Merino, that is sort of a red flag. But here's the case where you know that with Real Madrid, you get chances.
Yeah.
It's about finishing those chances. And so it looks like the responsibility might fall on a Saka, on a Martinelli, in some instances Merino, to try and finish off as many chances as they get and try and get a result. Yeah. It's all about finishing chances because Arsenal will get the chances.
But one of Arsenal's biggest threats this season has got to be their ability on set pieces. But one key player who really has been the hit with that formula has got to be Gabriel. They are missing him tonight. But how will Arsenal and we've seen Real Madrid as well. This season they've conceded a lot of goals from set pieces. Yeah. Is that where Arsenal wins the game? Is that where the game could end up being?
Of course, if you look at Arsenal this season, one of the major problems they've had, even domestically in Europe, aside the PSV game where they score a lot of goals, scoring goals have been a problem. And I'm sure that Bill and a lot of Arsenal fans have been calling for Arteta to sign, an attacker. And when Kai Havertz is not scoring, when they are not scoring from set pieces, you don't actually know where the goals are going to come from. But Madrid have been conceding, and that should give Arsenal a bit of hope. But then, would you say you are going to rely on those set pieces? I believe that in games like this, both teams are suffering from injuries. Yeah. But individual brilliance of some of these players would be telling on the day, and I feel that Madrid have that a lot in their starting 11 than in Arsenal. But at the Emirates, Arsenal have been very, very good, and I believe that if they need to win this game, they will get chances, and the supporters need to be behind the team this evening.
How big is the return of Bukayo Saka for Arsenal? He returns today, he starts today. Has this game come too early for him, or he's still the one who can give Arsenal an extra push?
Not necessarily. I think he's had enough running to prepare him for this. Games like this, sometimes the sense of occasion itself can provide the tonic that a player needs to step up there and go and excel. But the real issue for me has to be how Arsenal execute their set pieces. Look, everyone is talking about it. Ancelotti spoke about it before the game. Thibaut Courtois mentioned that. In fact, he went as far as referencing the average numbers of goals that are scored from set pieces in the knockout phase. And he says 1 out of every 3 goals scored in the knockout phase of the Champions League has been scored from set pieces, 33%. And he also admits that because of the issues that they have had, they've considered 4 goals from set pieces in their last 8 matches in all competitions. So he says they've been preparing, spending extra time on the training ground. My only fear is the absence of Gabriel Magalhaes, because his numbers are absolutely crazy. 14 of the 16 goals he scored for Arsenal have come from set pieces.
That's staggering.
So when you lose a figure like that on a night like this against a team that is prone to conceding set pieces, you've got to be worried. But Arsenal have got no excuses at all. Madrid will find a way to get what they need to get in this game. They don't necessarily have to play well. They haven't been playing well for some time now. It is up to Arsenal, and this is where, like you've mentioned, players like Bukayo Saka will be important. But for me, of prime importance is Thomas Partey and the control that he will bring into that Arsenal midfield.
Well, we'll come to how the battles will be, but let me get Coach's thoughts. Coach, I just said it. Everybody's talking about how Arsenal set piece troubles have been for teams, and Madrid have not necessarily been great at defending it. But you've seen how Arsenal have executed their set piece. How would you stop them? How do you stop that? But they've got a variation, but how do you really stop the threats?
I think one thing that Real will have to do, they shouldn't zone mark.
Okay.
Because most of Arsenal goals from the set pieces have been from teams that are zone marking them. Because they go, and then when Magalhaes or Saliba, even our own Thomas Partey, when they take off and they are coming, it becomes very difficult to block that
We benefited from that when they played for the Black Stars.
Of course.
Twice.
Of course. So Real will have to assign people on these guys.
Yeah.
Look, I've actually gone through and I've thought through the game. For Arsenal to win this, they need to believe they have what it takes to beat Real Madrid. The last time they met in the Champions League, Real had Raul, Ronaldo, Zidane, you can mention them. But Arsenal at the time, they had Thierry Henry, they had Robert Pires, they had players who were equally of a certain ego. So when Henry looks at Zidane and looks at Ronaldo, it doesn't put any fear in him. And we saw the brilliant goal he scored at the Bernabeu, which was actually the goal over 2 legs that took them through. So what I'm thinking is that Saka, Thomas Partey, I have no doubt about him whatsoever, because he's played in the Spanish league. He knows these guys. He knows how to handle them. The entire Arsenal team, including Mikel Arteta himself, he should look at himself and look at Ancelotti and say, look, with all your years of experience, I believe I have what it takes to undo you over 2 legs.
Right.
I think if Arsenal takes that mentality in the game, that is what is going to give them confident. Partey, Saliba, and Timber, and Saka and co. You need to look at Valverde, Vinicius Juniors, and guys. Look, yes, you guys are good. You've won this thing. You've turned this league into more or less a farmers' competition.
Yeah.
But today, over 2 legs, this is Arsenal, and I'm sure they've spoken to the likes of Thierry Henry and co. Those things will not be shown, but I'm sure Henry, Pires, those guys, Vieira,
they've gone and done it.
Flamini, they've all gone there. They've spoken to them. Just believe. If you believe, it's football. Anything at all can happen.
All right.
So for me, it's down to Arsenal believing. Without a doubt, if you look at the 2 teams over, player for player, Real Madrid is there, Arsenal is here.
Yeah.
But if they are second in the league, Arsenal is also second in the league. We all believe that the most competitive league is the EPL. Nobody argues that. So with all these accolades, go into the game, believe in your ability, look at them, don't be afraid of them, respect them though, but don't be afraid, and do what you see, play to your strength and see whether as a block, as a team, you can nullify their threats. Our team is Arsenal. Do believe this makeshift Real Madrid backline. Unfortunately, Arsenal themselves has a makeshift attacking forward, but with Saka and Odegaard, I think one of the players that will be very important today is Declan Rice. I'd have no doubt, but my Ghanaian player will pick the ball and he will control the game and he will do his thing. But if Declan Rice can bring his A game into midfield, I look at the Real Madrid setup, I think they are vulnerable on the left. That Alaba, he's gone past the years of playing as a fullback. It's looking like he will be playing as the left back.
Yeah, he will be there.
And if you are Saka, you look at Alaba today.
Run at him.
Yeah. He's had ACL. If he come another,
especially in the last 2 games, he's been very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Now, the games are just about to kick off. Remember that this is the watch along on Bet with Mallam Go podcast. So you can watch with us. You can drop your comments. We'll be engaging, interacting with you throughout the 90 minutes of the 2 games. That is what is going to happen. So we've spoken about what we are to expect in that Arsenal game and the Real Madrid game in London, but there's a huge one also happening in Munich, in Germany. It's Bayern Munich taking on Internazionale, and when you look at Bayern Munich's team, they've also got some injuries in their own camp. So in post for them is Ubek it's in post. On right back is Lima, Eric Dyer, Kim, and then Stanisic will start at the back 4. Joshua Kimmich has now been pushed to midfield alongside Goretzka. Michael Olise, I should say, Rafael Guerrero, and then Leroy Sané will all play behind Harry Kane. For Inter Milan, the captain Lautaro Martinez will start up front with Marcos Thuram, Carlos Augusto, Mkhitaryan, Calhanoglu, Barella, Matteo Damian. They are more or less the midfield 5 that they like to put across. Bastoni, Acerbi, and Pava will be the players playing in the back 3. Jan Soma is imposed for them. I mean, everybody's looking at, well, the Real Madrid has first shot on target is from Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe relaxing flexing his muscle there. But briefly on that, not briefly necessarily, we are doing it for 90 minutes. So, but in building up to that game, even though it started, Bayern have got injury worry. They've not got nowhere. They've not got, some of their players fitting around. How big a blow is that for them? And we look how Inter
Look, it's a big blow, and it's sad the manner in which all the teams, almost every team in the world, involved in competitions up to this stage, are going through this injury problem.
Yep.
But there is another school of thought that believe that, yes, if you say you are a big team, these are the sort of situation you should be able to live with. Because an Arsenal, a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, the richest team by far in Germany, if you are missing 3-4 players, it shouldn't go a long way to actually undo your setup at all. So I'm not going to show them any sympathy. They are playing at home. It's against a very tough Italian team. I think Inter Milan has conceded the least number of goals in the entire competition. It tells you that is how solid they can be. We are grateful to have El Capitano sit with us today and do the game. He played in Italy, and one of the strongest weapons of Italy.
I can guarantee that Stenapia doesn't want Inter to win.
That I know for sure. That I know for sure. But
for a Bianconeri, he never wants the Nerazzurris to win.
Exactly, that I know for sure. But he will always admire that Italian defensive organization and the Italian shape.
Yeah.
So for me, I believe that what Inter really need to do, they are to go at the Bayern Munich team and expose the loopholes at the back. If you are playing against a team that is so weak at the back, the tried and tested Manuel Neuer is not there. They like the Korean boy. It's not there, and there's a lot.
Kim starts today with alongside but
he starts.
Kim
starts. I think Musiala is
Kim.
also out.
Musiala is out. Our own Alfonso Davis is out.
Upamecano is injured.
Upamecano too is injured. So there's a lot of loopholes. And if you look at the attacking threat of Inter, look, most people are not giving Inzaghi the credit he deserves.
I love him.
I think that he's one of the best managers in the world. He's gotten his team to represent his identity, their philosophy. You can watch Inter and you know exactly what they will do, and they go and they still do it, and they tend to get a result. So I expect Inter over 2 legs to eliminate Bayern Munich without a doubt, because they look a stronger team. They have most of their players around. Bayern, over reliance on Harry Kane, cannot be the same over these 2 legs. Other players will have to take up the responsibility and change. There you go. There's another counter.
That Vinicius Junior trying to find Mbappe.
Bukayo, why? Sicho, this is something that Arsenal need to deal with. That Rodrigo, Vini, and Mbappe front, and then Bellingham, that front four is something that Arsenal needs to deal with. And you know, when you have a shift back four, you would always find problem. You know, trying to stop this particular front four.
But look, Saliba is an absolutely brilliant defender. You saw what he did?
Yeah.
He made sure
positioning was great.
He closed down Vinicius, but in a way to block the channel. So he was telling Vinicius, you are not going to go through me or past me. Go wide. And I was shocked that Vinicius, with all his experience, didn't see what Saliba had done to him, and he decided to go for Mbappe.
But what led to that chance itself cannot be happening. I mean,
no.
There are 2 things Aston.
What happened there? Can you?
It was a complete giveaway.
Misplaced pass
from
Saka. Look, there cannot be any giveaways at this level. There's too much quality, and the difference between the 2 teams is too, as namely we always say, infinitesimal.
Yes.
For you to be giving handouts in situations like this.
Yeah.
No mistakes. Also, win all your individual duels.
And actually, we know one thing about Madrid.
Give us a second, we'll come back to it. Well, I'm feeling good today, so we are going to be doing some giveaway. We have a proper Arsenal shirt,
right,
from Arsenal
So
store.
don't we say proper, authentic
Arsenal shirt from Arsenal store to give away tonight. So all of you doing the watching here with us, we're going to be getting your predictions on the game, and then if you get a score correct,
this is how we like
you win yourself an Arsenal shirt. Meanwhile, Arsenal have their first corner of the game.
You see, so jittery from Real Madrid.
Another thing that Arsenal cannot afford not to do. When the ball ends up in the box, someone has to follow.
They have to commit.
Someone has to follow.
But that's a problem with not having an outside striker.
That is the thing. Problem. When you don't have a direct focal point, it will be very difficult for you to have players going at the end of
today.
The final 10.
The person whose designation to go after those balls.
Hang on, Arsenal have got a corner. We're talking so highly about how good they can be with it. Let's just look at how they are executing this one and how Real Madrid are defending, because Saka is on the corner, whips one in, and then Thibaut Courtois parries it away for that corner.
Coach, you're talking about zonal marking.
Yes, you see their zone marking.
Yes.
But it was too close to the goalkeeper.
This was too close, but if it had moved away a bit from the goalkeeper,
they could have managed
the Real Madrid players, you see, look at them. They are not paying attention to the runs of the Arsenal players, and that is dangerous. If that had touched any head of Arsenal, Arsenal up 1-0.
And that's the thing. Other thing, Thibaut Courtois is a giant himself. He won't allow players to be around him to cause him the distraction that Arsenal really do cause. But the second corner comes in and Arsenal almost.
And so that is why you also don't need to send crosses closer to Courtois because of his height. He can come in, punch the ball away or grab it and then initiate a Real Madrid attack. Just on the edge of the 6-yard box, a bit central is enough. I mean, that's how Arsenal have scored their goals. Anyway,
are we going to see? Are we likely to see a Real Madrid team that will set up to maybe then in the mid block or low block and try to
like we saw them do against Man City?
Yeah, are we going to see? Arsenal are going to feel like Madrid are going to feel like Arsenal not necessarily superior on the ball, so it's going to be 50-50. They'll defend when they have.
Coach, you are more technical. I watch Champions League with Real Madrid. Do you think they have? I don't know how to call it. Do they have a formation, a system they play?
Clearly defined.
It looks like when it comes to the Champions League, I have a group of players that have been there, won its experience. Just go out there and get me qualification.
No. I think tactically there's a system that they normally use.
I think so too.
Because at this level, you cannot just depend on the players' awareness.
I say that because there are games that we all like, wow, Madrid won. Wow, they are losing. All of a sudden,
that comes down.
What you will not see from Real Madrid.
A bit of look, and plenty of technical.
What you will not see from Real Madrid is a choreographed pattern of play that is repetitive. You won't see that. What Ancelotti does often is to prepare based on the unique skill set of the opponents. And Madrid don't always try to impose themselves on opponents. I mean, the 2 games against Man City may have been the exception of the games where Madrid just went out there. Unless it's really necessary, unless they've got a deficit that they have to recover from, they just play to win. And that is what more often than not leaves people to think that.
But would you also agree that most of the exceptional wins or surprise wins, they've just gone out to do the job?
No, that's the quality in the team. Every team with this amount of quality can do anything at any time.
But coach, I think the Real Madrid have done this miracle comebacks to the extent that we take it for granted.
Look, we are seeing a replay of the set piece. Arsenal should have scored from that set piece.
So the ball was actually going in, and Saliba inadvertently made the contact that diverted the course of the ball away from the goal.
Like I was saying about the Real Madrid thing. Almost every comeback that Real Madrid have done in this Champions League, in the time that we can remember, it's come under some very impressive, changes or substitution from the manager. For instance, the game against Bayern Munich, when he threw on Joselu, and then got Vinicius to play wider and take on his man 1v1, that was crucial. Like that changed it. I remember in that game as well, when
Rodrigo, Man City
game, Rodrigo thing, like they do some things. It's a bit more tactical, but it's something that it's so difficult to believe that it's all proper football that gives them those magical moments.
But you see, the issue with Real Madrid is that for a long time they have not been good enough. There is a reason why sometimes they are pushed to the point where
the manager for this season they haven't been good.
They haven't been.
But how can a team hasn't? Okay, now this is the thing.
Okay, let's say
the mentality.
Let me make the
Real Madrid have not been good enough.
Let me make the point.
Then the Champions League quarters. Wait, I'm saying, not briefly. The Champions League quarters. They are second in La Liga, and then the final of the Copa del Rey. That is for a team that supposedly is
that they could even win the treble.
When I say they have not been good for a long time, they finished 11th in the league phase of the Champions League. They nearly lost to Atalanta. Against Stuttgart, they were second best. Against Dortmund, they were second best.
Against AC Milan.
There's not a single game Madrid has played in Europe up until the knockout phase where you could say they, for all intents and purposes, the performances matched the levels that we expect from Real Madrid, or even that they were the better side. That has not been the case. Even in La Liga, there is a reason Ancelotti, before they faced Man City, had to come out and say that this is where our season starts. Is effectively admitting to everyone that, look, we have not exactly been great from the beginning of the season up until now. And even in the games that Madrid have lost, I don't think there's been the feeling that the better side lost. You get me? There's not been, and by and large, a lot of the issues that have characterized Madrid's performance remain unresolved. So conceding from corner kicks, the issue from the left side of their defense, right? How uncoordinated they have looked at times. all of those issues have persisted, and that is the reason everyone is waiting to see how they approach this game, right?
Yeah. But that's a fact.
How they will approach this game. If Arteta is not going to be imprisoned by his own insecurities, and he will let this Arsenal team lose, look, they've got a very chance of getting a result in today's game. Well, it is possible because, like,
look, in the Champions League,
this season,
but
so you probably were.
I think at certain moments,
I'm saying to you that this season we've seen Atalanta do it, we've seen Stuttgart, we've seen Dortmund, we've seen Liverpool. We have seen, even in La Liga, we've seen Leganés do it. We've seen last weekend Valencia. Those are 12 games. That is too many.
Has it occurred to you that when Real Madrid were winning,
even in the seasons when, in the previous seasons that Real Madrid won the Champions League, there were not that many games where they were inferior
Thomas
to
Partey!
mighty close.
Well worked, but
you see, one thing that is becoming so
Venom
clear
wasn't really there.
is that anytime Arsenal are able to isolate the fullbacks with their two wingers, Real Madrid are struggling. Because Valverde is not comfortable with the direct runs of Martinelli. And again,
Saka always runs at
what's the name of the left back of Real Madrid? Alaba is also not comfortable going 1v1 against Saka. So if Arsenal can continue and encourage that, I think Thomas Partey should have rather put his laces. You can see Steve O saying,
maybe he should have
gone with his laces.
He should have opened himself a little bit.
From the way the ball was coming, he couldn't have allowed it to go before doing this. So he should have gone with his laces. Bam! That would have been in the back of the net.
Stephen Appiah shots go.
Yeah, you can see he demonstrating that he should have done that.
Yeah, but one thing that's so far so good for Arsenal is that when their wingers have had the ball, they've got the support of their fullbacks. So we saw Timber.
Are they checking for a penalty on this?
There's a hint of a handball.
No. There was nothing you could do about it.
I don't think it will be given as a handball. I don't think it will be given.
I'll be shocked if this is given.
I'll be shocked too.
Because if you look at where he was, and even his hand was just look at that.
And the distance between the ball and him was just too close.
No, that's not handball.
But there's a case.
No, that's not handball.
They'll give it.
It can't be a handball.
But in the Champions League, normally,
not in a million years. Like, how do you take a handball? Where could the sign have been? Like,
I will not give that as a penalty. But in the Champions League,
the proximity was just too close.
I think they'll give it.
Was a bit far.
Okay. Give us a corner. I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
That's just right.
Officiating the Champions League is different from what we see week in, week out in the Premier League.
The reason they wanted another look was that at the time the Arsenal player made contact with the ball, the arm was stretched, but he was pulling the arm away from the ball.
Yeah, he was doing
yes, he was pulling his arm
his
away
arm
from
was
the ball.
up, but you saw that.
Yeah, he was going
But I feel that this handball rule hasn't really favored defenders. So. Because sometimes, Charlie, you are jumping, you are there, you don't know where your arm is. It hasn't really favored defenders at all.
Take the ball.
That was a very bad pass from Camavinga.
Bad pass. Very terrible pass. But it seems Arsenal are dominating for the first 15 minutes. Real Madrid.
And that's the thing about Real Madrid,
haven't had many.
No, let you have the ball. Do whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just can't explain what they do. But it happens.
That is why I talk about the Sun.
It just happens.
You people. See, that's what Real Madrid do. It is not out of choice. They have not been coached enough. They have not been coached to dominate teams for 90 minutes. This is what they can do.
This is what they do.
Yes, this is
and
what
they
they
are happy.
No. Again, the reason why I say no is Real Madrid are humble enough to respect.
That's what I'm saying. So they are told.
When Real Madrid play against City, look, there is no team in this world capable at City at peak, capable of dominating against City. There are so many teams who have been stubborn enough to try it against City. They've been walloped.
And it didn't work.
We saw Bayern Munich do it against City. They were killed.
Real
Madrid admit that we are Real Madrid. We've got good players, but we can't dominate against it. So what do? We will sit deep. Real Madrid will know that when Arsenal have the ball, they've got pistes. So Real Madrid will set back enough. You see, so it's not like Real Madrid don't want to dictate it. That is why they are successful in the Champions League.
But
because they are humble enough to accept what
agreed,
they are good at and what they are not good at.
There could also be the fact that they know they have a very, effective front four who are very quick on the counter. let's sit back, get the ball, look for Vini, look for Mbappe, Rodrigo, and we are on the road straight to go and attack. I feel that sometimes they also believe they have a very good front three that can easily get the ball into the opposition final as quickly as possible, and it has worked for them.
And there is no team in the world who can decide games on individual brilliance than Real Madrid.
Sishu, for me, here's the thing. Every team, before you set out to execute any game plan, strategy, philosophy, whatever you call it, you must have the players in place
that can
with the right
suit
skill
that.
set to execute it. Madrid, no.
Yeah.
They have not been trained to dominate teams for 90 minutes.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question.
So the other teams that you say will perhaps face Man City and will arrogantly go, they know among themselves that within their hearts of hearts that what it takes to execute a low.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's true. I think the structure, I think what I've come to realize about Real Madrid in the last few years is basically you don't see much of a fixed structure with them. They sort of switch when they need to switch.
Yes.
They switch depending on the opponent, they switch depending on the circumstance, and sometimes you can't explain it. So you basically place it on individual brilliance.
And you see
that is it about them. They thrive in chaos.
The reason why I don't necessarily agree with what Archie is saying, that they've not been coached, they've not been that. Real Madrid, there was a period where they had Casemiro, they had Marcelo, Ramos, Pepe or Varane, Carvajal, they had Casemiro, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale. There is nobody can convince me that team is not good enough to dominate games. Yet they were not. You see, it's I don't think it's a matter of. No. What I'm saying is,
I think structure. Basically,
it's not that we believe it. They have it. Their games. Yes, they know very well that they are better. At it. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's Barca.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But could you also agree that sometimes when you don't have a consistent partner in that central, it affects your performance as well?
Good pass.
So he needs to show a bit more leadership and get the guys to organize. But rather,
last season, coach.
You see, I think that is a
That
foul.
should have been a foul ball, yeah.
That's a foul.
That was a foul.
That is a foul.
Is that Rudiger on the ball?
Rudiger, galloping forward.
And I think at the beginning of the season, we spoke about this, the lack of investment into Madrid's defense and the fact that
That's dangerous.
Also
Corner kick.
I've got a record with injuries, and that at this point in the season, that will be exposed, and they will be forced to make some adjustments that may not necessarily allow them to put their best foot forward in their games.
And that is telling, because they are still in the La Liga race, they are in the Copa del Rey semis, they are in the Champions League
last season.
and it's telling.
You guys remember you guys remember how Girona was playing last season? They would dominate games and everything. When Real Madrid played against Girona, Real Madrid didn't want the ball.
So just do what you want to do with it.
But another team would think I am the big team. Who is Girona? Let's play. And then they lose. And that is one thing I've come to love about Real Madrid. They are humble enough to accept It's when they can't dominate games.
But Sijo, can you also say that when you have an Italian manager, you can't totally take away that pragmatic defensive structure out of him? In as much as you might have the very best offensive-minded players in your team, you'd also a bit, in a tactical way, try to be a bit defensive.
But I look at the Champions, very defensive.
No, I'm not saying very defensive, but he's mindful of how defensive his team has to set up. If you look at the game against City, especially the one at the Etihad, City had the ball, but they punished City on some of the errors that they committed in that game. So yes, that Italian in Carlo and his son, who is the assistant, sometimes tell the way Madrid normally play, especially in the Champions League game.
Okay. All right, a lot of you joining us on YouTube and also dropping in your live comments. We'll be going through some of them. Davis Martin says, "Oh, Charlie, my 2 favorite shows, all they do live." Assembly and Crane. There's no competition, so this is the one to tune into. This is what the vibe is.
Of course.
So Big Gabby said, "Missing the match is giving me anxiety." That is from Cove Town Babes. And then Arsenal FC to win by 3 goals to nil. That is coming from Aston Martin. Cove Town Babes says that Charlie Emirates is looking sweet.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And then, all right, Arsenal 2, Madrid 1. Watching you guys from Florida. That is the one coming through as well. So yeah, keep all your thoughts coming, keep your predictions coming as well. We've got plenty to give you. Remember that we've got jerseys to give away today based on correct predictions. It's a very, very proper, authentic Arsenal shirt. Because Arsenal are home today, that the shirts will be given.
Oh, what pass was that?
Offside.
Oh,
Yeah, that was offside from Mbappe.
But I find it very, very worrying that
The problem with Arsenal is that when you slow down the tempo, Real Madrid, like we've said, have come into the game and respected the fact that when Arsenal has the ball, they will drop off, do a medium low block press. So what Arsenal can also do is to speed it up a bit. Saliba, Kivio, and then Timber, including Partey himself. He's been given 2-3 balls. If he had done this, he would have just allowed the ball to roll and then he turns. But when the ball is given to him, he gives it back. Given to me, that Real Madrid will be very happy with that. He needs to add a variation to get the Real Madrid players to understand that you cannot lose this guy. If you lose him, you are in big trouble.
Who is down? Timber.
Oh my
If you
God.
lose him, you are in big trouble. To be
Oh
honest
my
with you.
God. The
You
injuries.
can see Arteta is very worried. Very, very
Fabio,
worried.
what would be the option? Push
No.
Partey.
The-
Push Partey.
Well,
there.
there's White, but White has not been particularly very, very
I think
fit.
he'll be fine.
I mean, he
But
recently
Arsenal-
returned against Everton, but he's not been 100%. So that is why White has been in the bench. So it's really, really worrying. And it's also worrying that Arsenal haven't actually gotten a goal in the first 25 minutes. Because usually, when you get a goal early, the nerves are settled. You
But
can
they
really
haven't,
dominate.
apart from the 2 set
But
piece
it's Real Madrid
that was
they
through
are
the
playing.
corner, they haven't
Yeah.
really had
They are
any
playing
clear
against Real
cut.
Madrid,
Yeah.
so they need to be
Opportunity.
patient.
Yeah.
An early goal, yes, we will take it. But if it doesn't happen, you look at the opposition in front of you and say, look,
Let's stay in the game.
let's stay in the game.
Stay in the game
And
for
let's
as long
keep
as
doing what we are doing right. Let's keep pushing. 1 or 2 before your way, and then you take it from
But
there.
I'll be very surprised if I don't see goals in this game. I'm expecting both teams to
Felix,
score.
Arsenal need to be careful because that's the second time they've given away a cheap pass.
Yep.
And it resulted
Yep.
in a chance.
Yep,
The third time, they may not be lucky.
yep.
They may not be third time lucky.
Well, but look, I think Real Madrid are beginning to
They are growing into it.
smartly figure out how to stop Arsenal from playing down the wing. They are forcing Arsenal to go very central now. Like they are forcing Arsenal to go very central. Arsenal wants to go down the wing, but
Isolate him. Let's go. Give it to him.
you see, they are not caging Arsenal in the middle of the park. Arsenal have had to play now through the middle, where they are looking comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
isolate him. Isolate him.
So Joe, this is the individual duel I want to see. I want to see more Saka on the ball, getting at Alaba, because Alaba is coming back from injury.
Yeah.
He hasn't had it
Yeah,
very
if-
2 games.
And then you see,
I don't know
If
why
Saka
Arsenal
is
are not
scoring up
trying
against
to.
Alaba,
when
he needs
Saka
another.
goes left,
Yeah.
Alaba cannot throw his right.
No, but
they should,
So that should be the point of the attack. That is where I
But
want to see a lot of the balls.
I still think
going
even
through.
though that's dangerous. I still think even though Alaba might not have the pace on him,
Lewis Kelly.
even though Alaba might not have the pace on Saka, when it comes to 1v1 defending, Alaba is still very good at it. So when Saka has got the ball, he needs runners off him. Because if you're leaving him to do too much with Alaba, I think Alaba 1v1 is still good.
No, but you see, in terms of pace, Saka will have that pace. So you shouldn't wait to get closer to Alaba before you try go past him. You can use your pace.
If there's space behind him, that one you can. Yeah.
You can use your pace, and I feel that Arsenal should be attacking from that particular channel where Alaba is operating.
When Real Madrid gets into the Arsenal half, they are passing the ball a bit quicker. When Arsenal go, they're a bit slow, very lethargic. And you cannot be doing that against
Coach, they are robotic. Arsenal are robotic.
Yeah, no, but I think it's been a culture of Arteta over the years. It's basically been patient possession and trying to find holes.
We spoke about this earlier.
Being patient doesn't mean the ball shouldn't move quick.
Yeah.
You can be patient. Patient means that you are waiting for the correct pass to give. But before you get that, let's go. Let's move it. Move it.
You see,
there you go.
I spoke about this a few weeks ago. The Arsenal problem is not that they are too patient. It is that they are risk averse. When Real Madrid have the ball in the opponent's half, the instruction is the ball has to move at all costs. When Arsenal have the ball, the instruction is don't lose the ball.
Yeah.
When you repeatedly tell players to think safety first, this is what happens. You begin to create robots who are risk averse, who are afraid of taking risks and then moving the ball forward when they need to.
But if you look at Arsenal, one of the reasons why they are not moving the ball fast, the teammates are not giving Arsenal, the other Arsenal players, an outlet to even receive the ball. So when you get the ball, you have to turn around and look for options.
Instances where they choose the next safe pass, or they tend to wait before they release the ball. By which time Madrid would have closed down the space.
See, I've watched the last 30 seconds. Players are taking 3-4 touches before they release the ball to another team, which for me I think slows down the attacking threat.
Yeah, I just saw Merino trying to turn. I think it just slows down. It just slows down the opportunity.
And now look at the numbers that Madrid have.
Numbers for Real Madrid now.
Their entire 11.
No, understandably. So they are blocking the channels. Yeah. So what you need to do is to stretch. But nobody in the Arsenal team, I'm surprised Thomas Partey has not done that twice or thrice already. Because tactically, to look at Martinelli, look at Saka, they've also kept it very wide. So if the ball cannot move faster to these guys, Real Madrid can never be exposed.
Well, so it's still goalless in that game after.
This is the pass.
28.
Oh, Skelly. That's a terrible pass.
You see the pass?
Yeah,
this is the pass.
If Saka was
through
on,
the channel,
it would have been a big chance.
Well, after 29 minutes, it's still goalless in that game against Arsenal and Real Madrid. And so producers are saying we are going to make a change, substitution. Substitution. Okay, so
who's been substituted?
We are. So, okay, though. So in that game against Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, it's also goalless.
Yeah, it's also goalless.
It looks like it's also very
cagey. You see,
very cagey.
The fact that there's no away goal
makes it very exciting.
It makes it very exciting. So at the end of the day, I think both teams clearly respect the fact that so many things could happen. But you want to respect the fact that if you are the home team, then you need to be a bit tight. You don't want to give a go out because look, take or leave it. This is European football. But being at home, it counts to some extent. When you've got your supporters, that was
And coach, you see, Inter have been where they are this season because they've been very, very good defensively, and I feel that is the mentality they took into this game.
We've been. All right, that's a perfect way to introduce you, Michael. Michael, you go into the seat, and then Mbappe has a chance.
I'm telling you.
I mean, what has been your initial impression about the game? I tell you what. At the very time Mbappe was taking a shot, Carlos Augusto was also taking a shot for Inter Milan. Both of them missed. Same time.
You see, clearly, give the ball to Martinelli. Surprisingly, okay, not too surprising because Valverde is struggling to deal with him on a 1v1 situation. Once you identify that is your strength, why are the Arsenal players so jittery and slipping like that?
It's a Champions League night. It's not something Arsenal is familiar with.
The lack of experience is telling.
You see, it's a big Champions League night.
It's a big champ. But they need to believe. You remember, this is what I said. If you don't believe you've got what it takes to do the job, these are the things that will happen. They are giving the ball away under no pressure. Simple tackles that we are used to seeing them do with cheeky ease.
Most of these boys have not been here before.
Yeah,
most of these
but you see,
Arsenal
Coach,
boys.
I always think that when it comes to things like the Champions League, the World Cup, you take Ghana and Nigeria in African youth or world youth tournaments. Once you establish a pedigree, you go into a game almost 10% taller.
So big.
I don't think Real Madrid were necessarily better than City this season.
No, they were not.
Even last season when they beat them. But there's just this thing about Real Madrid. And for us now, there just seems to be. But also, let's be fair. This is an Arsenal whose mojo has gone a bit down.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they have to do what they've not done in the league. They have to do it in the Champions League. And this is a Real Madrid beginning to sense blood and realize that without the Champions League, this could turn out to be a pretty disastrous season. And there's also the issue of quality. If you've got Mbappe running down the channel at you are Saliba, they may call you the Rolls Royce defender, but panic stations been setting. So I think it's just all a mix. But if Arsenal establish themselves, I think over 2 legs they have everything within themselves to be able to go to.
Yeah, and for me, the disappointment is that you're seeing in 2 problem positions for Real Madrid, right back, left back, makeshift players there. You've got everything at your disposal and it's forced the issue for Arsenal. And see, especially on the right where you've got Bukayo Saka, and see what you can, if something will give. The fact that it's also tentative, it's also risk averse for me. Because if you can't do that at home,
but you know, Coach,
you
know this.
Both teams have injuries.
You know what, Coach, you know this. The moment the players go on the pitch, the first misplaced pass, the first slip, the first tentative steps could spread in the team. And I've seen Arsenal players slip like twice in very difficult areas. So, I think. And one of the things I like is when teams start saying, oh, this is makeshift. The moment a team decides that I've lost a regular right back and they're putting somebody there, there's a chance that guy has been playing there or been training there for the last 6, 4, 5 training sessions. So it's like you go and put Fede Valverde at right back. That's not tentative. That's not makeshift. Remember ACN in those days at right back.
And in fact, Osino Tukatu, Valverde has been their best player this season at right back.
Yeah, of course. Since the injury to their captain,
he's been the best player there.
I think he's not happy, but he's doing the job for the team.
Yeah, he's
no two ways about that. And I would prefer him there than the Vasquez. Sure.
And the point is, Real Madrid are not in a hurry to win this game.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to win this game.
Watch the game. You can clearly see that they are, to some extent, playing below par. It's like they have 1 or 2 more
years to go.
They never go out of full gear.
Yeah, and that is the difficult thing about Real Madrid. You don't know when they are going to step it up, and when they step it up, most of you are not too sure how to even deal with it.
But you know their best games in the Champions League have come at the Bernabeu.
Oh yeah, that's where the Sunsun is.
So they know very well that should they get a very good results here, go to Spain, they can go and finish there. That is why it is very important for us now to at least get a very good results here going into the second leg.
Yeah, but for Arsenal, I mean, I don't know, Michael. Is it not? They come into the game as they are not favorites, obviously. It's Real Madrid are favorites. 30 minutes into the game, they've not conceded. They've not been dominated by Real Madrid. Raya hasn't been busy. I think as the game goes on, we saw the jitters at the start, but they can grow in confidence and be like, oh, 45 minutes is goalless. We can go for this.
Yeah, and there's also a factor in the Champions League knockout stage that I think a lot of people overlook. These days, nobody cares about their away goal. So if you're Arsenal, your stress really is one, you don't concede, you don't lose the game. You know that if you win by a goal to nil, then the point that Coach made about Martinelli, the tentativeness of Saka at the Bernabeu, all that is thrown out of the window. This is an Arsenal team with pace, with quality to be able to play efficiently on the counter.
Yeah.
So in this game, the point really is not to lose.
Yeah.
If you are Arsenal, you are never going to close out this game at the Emirates.
At the Emirates,
Unless it's one of those
Crazy
bad
nights, yeah.
where you must be perfect. And we've seen Arsenal cannot be perfect. So you win 2-0, 3-0. Even 2-0 we take to the Bernabeu.
Everybody knows that.
They score first 15 minutes. Ayaka.
Let him go.
Everybody is panicking. So for me, that's the thing. They just need to stay in as much as possible. They need to stay in. And Real Madrid knows how to make things difficult for teams, especially away from home.
That was a chance.
This was what you spoke about.
Big chance, yeah.
That's what I said. Someone has to follow.
You have to commit.
They don't have a center forward. They don't have a center forward.
So getting players in the 12 yard.
It's not an excuse. That's the reason why it's important.
They should understand they don't have a center
Lampard will
forward.
get on the
Exactly.
end of.
And I think,
Look, does nobody get on the end of this?
And this is about the third time in this game.
Look, you made the decision that Mikel Merino will play as your center forward.
Yes.
Whether he is the false nine or whatever,
Does he have the skill set?
Does not change.
Does he have the skill set?
I'm saying that
The job description doesn't change. But when you have
Now,
a typical
look at it. When you watch the sequence
striker,
again.
he knows
when
very
you
well
watch the
that
sequence again, the ball came from the left.
he should have run it.
The moment Saka had that 1v1,
All right, so Inter Milan have broken the deadlock in Bayern Munich Stadium in Munich at the Allianz Arena. It's Lautaro Martinez who's giving them the goal. And I think they've been the better side, marginally the better side. They've dictated the game, they've dominated, and Vincent Kompany is not looking happy. But yeah, Inter Milan a goal to be good.
Going according to scripts, Inter came into this one big favourites. Look, even in the Champions League,
they've been in fact the best team.
They've been the best team in the competition. They've only conceded 2 goals. Even on current form, they are on a 10-game unbeaten run before this one. Yes, Aslani was not available. I think Zielinski as well. But if you look through the core that they can pick from and the football they've been playing over time, there's a certain consistency.
Wow.
There's a certain consistency.
But what a goal, really. Let's talk through the goal because it's a magnificent goal. The ball from Carlos Augusto to Marcus Thuram, who backheels the ball to his captain. And with the outside of his boot, Lautaro Martinez sweeps it home. Brilliant. It's PlayStation stuff. Like this one is. This one is a goal I'll score against you. I was about to say.
Look, Lautaro may miss the odd chance or two in the
that's a quality goal.
People hold against him.
That's
But
a quality goal.
Striker.
Yeah.
Because this is excellent improvisation.
Yeah.
But
There
you
was
see,
no time to go and control the ball. Just to make the right contact.
I think you should credit
Lautaro.
Player who doesn't get as much credit.
the combination or the understanding, the understanding between the understanding between the two strike partners. Thuram could have gone for it, isn't it? But for him to have cushioned that back, having the awareness that
The presence
his
of mind.
strike partner,
The presence of mind.
Inter team is, when you watch Inter in Syria, and I pity people who just spend their weekends watching the same thing over and over. When you watch that Inter team, it's one of the best coached footballing clubs.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
You know, it's like they literally play passes with their eyes shut.
Yeah.
another one.
Thuram knows where this is running to. Bastoni on
Yeah.
player.
Another one.
The whole Inter team is
And that's the thing.
On a different
It does football
Look
looks.
at it. Salim, Alaba can't live with a young man. He will cause a penalty very
But it's
soon.
obvious that Saka will get a lot of joy.
Yes. Down the right.
Against Alaba.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Alaba has been
Yeah.
pretty bad for Real Madrid.
Yeah, yes.
So there should be a lot of people in that Arsenal team, whether it's deep runs from midfield, a forward, making runs into the box in twos on a regular basis. Because too many balls are spilling.
And nobody's found. And the problem also is the most advanced midfielder for Arsenal is Odegaard, but he also tends to shift or drift to combine with Saka. So instead of him being, and something has to give if that happens because he's helping creating overloads.
Look at it.
By the time he arrives in the box, look, so he's come short. He's not in the box. He's not making that gamble. And Michael said it. Frank Lampard is going to be there because Lampard doesn't care about coming to combine with you. He's waiting for the cross.
Rudiger could have considered an own goal.
Yeah.
And I've been counting this about the
He
fit.
adjusted his leg well.
You know, earlier when I spoke about Arsenal should try as much as possible to use the Saka channel and attack Madrid. They've been doing that, and this is about the 5th time that Saka have gotten the ball into the 12-yard box, and there is nobody to concede. And I'm sure that if Arsenal should score, probably might have come from the same move, might be an own goal, or maybe one Arsenal player decides this is the time for me to get into that box and connect to a Saka cross.
The problem for Arsenal is that if we can make these observations, the Madrid coaching staff will see it. In the second half, they will come better prepared and perhaps with a solution to stop Arsenal's dominance down the right side.
Jude Bellingham, he's now tracking back to help Alaba defend against Saka.
I think Bellingham and maybe Rodrigo have been a bit quiet in the game. We've seen enough of both of them.
More of, let's help keep the shape of the team defensively.
Right.
Before we think about committing.
Right. Well, to be fair to Saka though, he's not looked like a player who's returned from
at all.
a 2 months age. He still looks sharp.
But credit to the Arsenal defense. Mbappe has been a bit quiet, but hey, it's one player you can never keep him quiet throughout the entire night.
Arsenal have actually been fortunate. They've handed Madrid 2 gifts. The 2 mistakes Madrid. On another
the one that he ballooned over the
another night, Madrid probably scored one of these, of the 2 chances that Arsenal gave them.
But see, there's something Arsenal that I'm not happy about. They've had so many opportunities to isolate Martinelli and Valverde. When the chance is there, they turn away from him and come into the middle. I don't know why they are doing that. I don't know why that, because that is another good channel to find a way through the Real Madrid defense.
Is that not because they think maybe Real Madrid are stronger on the right and maybe it's on the left where
maybe
they find joy in attack?
Because Vinicius Jr. doesn't track back as much as Rodrigo would do. And we've spoken about Alaba perhaps being a liability now in that space. So maybe they think they'll find, and to be fair, they've had a lot of joy down that side where
they've been
they throw the balls across a lot
they
more.
find good equal joy from both flanks, because the goal that they nearly scored at least came from the left.
But what about Thomas Partey though? I think he's
been brilliant.
He's been the right time to be. He's been good this season, but at the turn of the year, his form has been different.
Yes.
He's been Arsenal's best player, if you ask me, since January or February. And I think Arsenal are scratching their head whether to give him an extension.
Should be a chance. Nice one.
Partey the ball.
Goal! Well, that's a man mountain.
It was expected.
Again, it's one of those things. Arsenal don't cross the ball early enough.
But this one,
this is an early cross. Yeah. Merino gets his head onto it. But that's what he's there for. Merino is not there for the runs. He will make it. But he's a physical presence. He's good in the air. And with the one time they put the ball into the box, he's tested Thibaut Courtois though. What a keeper.
But that's what he's been doing. See, I look at Thibaut and there's been some Champions League final. He won it
against Liverpool.
Yes, in Paris. That was going in. But look at this double save. Excellent save. Yeah. Credit to the goalkeeper. But you can't fault the attacker for not finishing it.
He is one of the most underrated, talked about reason why Real Madrid
are successful. Yeah, I agree.
Wow. Several times when Madrid win the Champions League, we always talk about the attack.
Every major game when you need a goalkeeper,
he's been there.
He's there.
Even in the game against City where the Rodrigo magic, the Jack Grealish save, there was some. Look at that.
Like he makes saves that, and I remember when he was a teenager at Atletico, when he was at Chelsea. And he was saying, "Well, I'm not coming to Chelsea until I'm going to be number 1."
Yeah.
And then it was
and that was a 19-year-old goalkeeper.
I can't remember Chelsea player going there.
That's true.
To think that at 19,
it's like I'll go on loan. I'll stay on loan till I'm number 1. I'm not coming.
And when he started playing for Chelsea, I said, "Okay, I don't understand."
Yeah, that's true.
And his career trajectory.
Yeah, that's true.
I showed why he was so confident. So
I've never liked him.
And
he can be corrosive in his speech, in the sense that he's unapologetic about his confidence in himself.
Yeah. He's already fighting in
Belgium. Yeah,
exactly. But that chance that we saw came about because Arsenal decided to revert to type. They moved the ball quickly.
Very quickly.
There was a risk of Declan Rice losing the ball when he was sandwiched by 3 players, but he still took the risk. He decided not to make the back pass, but search forward with the ball, and that's how the chance.
That's what I've been saying. Yes, they have their shape compact, but move it faster. Being patient doesn't mean the ball shouldn't be allowed to move. You can move it. You see, this referee, this one, if it is Mbappe, we would have given the foul.
But was that a foul?
He
Was
does
that a foul?
No, but coach, I don't think
No,
it's
no,
a
no.
I don't
foul.
think it's a foul. I don't think it's a
You've
foul.
seen
don't think
several
so.
of such situations against Real Madrid, and he gives them
In
the
this
foul.
game,
Yeah.
I don't think that was a foul. To be
That
honest,
was the foul. He went through him to get to the ball.
maybe we have to see that again.
Because the ball was in front of the Arsenal player.
Oh, it's a
He
lovely
went through him
pass.
to get the ball. Hey.
This is not the time to concede.
Wow.
But on the other hand, for Vincent Company, if I mean, I think he will win the Bundesliga in the end. But if he's eliminated by Inter Milan, of course, it's not gonna. You know, what would the season be defined as for him?
It's how they go out.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
how they go out.
So in the games that matter in the Bundesliga, there's
Wow.
been question marks
That's the
about
first 45
their
minutes
level and how they've played. In the big games that they've played in the Champions League, they've not really convinced.
Yeah.
So if you go out on a whimper, it reinforces the belief that Bayern have not been
You know,
competitive
Rich.
this season.
Let me say,
Admittedly,
Vincent no Rich.
exactly. Admittedly, the squad he was
Van
under to
Vincent
go
will get
out
another
there.
2 years for Bayern.
Oh, of course.
You what?
He
will get another-
2 years for Bayern.
Why would that?
Atahiru,
He's
come and
definitely not
substitute
going
me.
up this year. He's going to get another year. When they start the season and the season doesn't start well, then Bayern may strike.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that to pick a coach from the championship, put him in charge of one of the biggest clubs in the world. By the way, a coach who understands and knows German football like the back of his hand. And because he was in Germany, his network would have been very strong. It's the
Yeah.
only reason he has that buy.
He speaks German very well and all that.
But it also means that people will be patient for a while. So I don't think they've convinced this season. If they go through to the semi-final, give him more credit. Even if they don't go through, he will get another season. But when the next season starts,
And it's not clicking, then maybe
you
then.
know Bayern already.
But Sister,
They'll start fighting it in the newspapers.
Yes.
for coaches that have
FC Hollywood.
for coaches that have coached Bayern, you'd always be judged on your performance in Europe. As for the Bundesliga, it is
The barest
something that you
minimum.
have to deliver.
Yeah.
And probably
But you know, after what Liverpool
German
did
Cup.
last season, this season wasn't as straightforward.
But
For Bayern.
no, but I
Yeah.
also didn't think
Yeah.
that Leverkusen will replicate that particular form they had last season.
It was going to be tough. It really
It was going to be very, very tough.
It was
going-
impossible actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they played every single football game for any club in every top club in Europe on the calendar. Went all the way to the cup final,
The Europa League
the
final.
Europa League. I mean, they had to win the big games going to the end of the season. So was anyway, it's halftime for both games. It's goalless at the Emirates for the game between Arsenal and Real Madrid. Inter Milan are leading in Munich by a goal to no. Lautaro Martinez with a superb
That
finish.
was a brilliant goal, Charlie.
The build up to the goal was
proper team
brilliant.
goal, proper team
Carlos
goal.
Augusto with a DiMarco live cross.
Yeah, DiMarco.
You know, Thuram with the presence of mind to flick it with a back heel to his captain, and a brilliant outside of the foot finish by Lautaro Martinez. If you have not seen that goal already, I'll be posting it on Twitter so you can have a look at it. It's just amazing that way the goal went in. All right, guys. So at halftime, let's now talk about what we made of the two games, starting with the Bayern and Inter Milan game. Let's start with you, Felix. It's Inter that are leading, but yeah, I think they've marginally maybe then deserved the lead, but in the end it's 1-0.
Well, it's not surprising because if you look at Inter, they haven't just been very good at this particular game, but the entirety of the Champions League this season, they've been one of the most exciting team. Defensively, they consider, I think, just the goal that was against Club Brugge
distracting the guy?
in the last round of the Champions League.
Wait,
But
they bomb here.
if I look at teams that I see going far in the Champions League, probably to the final, it has to be Inter. And I look at Inter, I think they have ambitions of repeating the treble they did with Jose Mourinho some years back. They are still in the race for the Scudetto. They are still in the Coppa Italia
Coppa
final.
Italia, yeah.
And I look at this game against Madrid, against Bayern. Should they get this result? Should they hold on to this particular results? I doubt if Bayern can come to San Siro and get the needed results. But clearly, the better team in the first half in Germany, have the lead, and kudos to them. I doubt if they will lose this particular game. Probably the best for Bayern will be a draw, but I won't also be surprised to see Inter increasing the tally in the second half because Bayern have to come out and try as much as possible to get a very good results going to the second leg.
Will Bayern fans cut him some slack? Will cut Vincent Company some slack knowing the kind of injury problem Jamal Musiala, key figure, is injured. The captain Mano Neuer is injured. Upamecano is not there. They've not got their first choice right back. They are missing some key players. You know, would they cut him a slack, knowing that they're going into the team being a weaker side, or is Bayern Munich, so you have to win by hook or crook?
I think they have to. I said at the beginning of the season that Bayern had not equipped company with a squad competitive enough to be in the position to make demands of them at this stage of the season. Because if you look at the back line, it was screaming for reinforcements. At right back, at left back, they didn't. In midfield, company's been forced to reintegrate a player that Bayern held a press conference and told the world that he's not going to be part of their plans, right? But these days he's playing. I mean, as early as in November, Goretzka, he started playing. They didn't apologize to him, but he's been playing. They pay him. Further up the pitch, Musiala's injury has further exacerbated the situation. So all of those is a context that you cannot run away from.
Yeah.
But it does not also excuse some of the inconsistencies we've seen in the way Bayern play, right? Those are purely technical matters. I mean, there is a limit or an extent to which better quality can make a difference for you. But we need to see a clear departure from the things that were problematic for the team in the season before, right? Because that's why you were brought in as a manager, as a coach. If those things persist, if the football is not markedly superior to what it was a year ago, obviously there will be question marks. And I think that games like this highlights that. But you will still have enough credits in the bank going into next season, even if they get eliminated at this stage.
All right, now, coach, let's talk about the Arsenal game now. It's what many people in and around here are keeping an eye on. It's Real Madrid, it's Arsenal, it's in London. What has been your general impression of that first 45 minutes? Which team would you say has been looking kind of knocking the door a little more?
I think the two managers will all be very pleased, but Arteta will be a bit disappointed. Now, if you look at the work rate or the contributions of his two wide men, what they've been able to do, the manner in which they've gone past the Real Madrid two laterals, and the fact that you've had 3-4 balls just been cut across, and nobody is attacking those balls with some form of intent. All those balls were begging for was just a body to be there and then a simple tap in, and Arsenal will be in the lead. My only problem here is that will they fancy and continue to do that in the second half? On the part of Carlo Ancelotti, he will be very happy. Because don't forget, it's an away game. He's away from the Bernabeu. He's come to the Emirates, and they look relatively comfortable. Real Madrid as a team has only been exposed when Arsenal decide to go wide through the middle.
Exposed like what?
I mean, of course, we've seen them. You've not been watching the game.
No, I said exposed like what?
I don't know, unless you remind me.
No.
Exposed like the way PSG exposed breast.
Don't mind this. You are going to be okay. Now, so you see,
that is all you want to say.
Like
I'm sorry for you. But anyway, welcome to the set. Steven Tonado Apia. Steve-O, good to have you, bro. Good to have you.
Thank you.
I mean, on nights like this, it's Champions League. It's big clubs, big players like yourself.
Hold on. Why is this Steve-O's first appearance on the pod? I don't understand that.
No, but he's been a busy man. He's all over the place.
Why don't you understand? But we always start from somewhere.
We don't invite you.
Today we are starting.
Today we start.
I mean, as players, nights like this, Champions League quarterfinal, it's against Real Madrid, it's against Bayern, against Inter. You know, you're a Juventus player, lots going through your head. How do you calm yourself down? Because we saw the nerves for the Arsenal players at the start of the game. How do you calm yourself down and get into the game and be yourself?
Well, I think every player have his own way to approach games.
Yes,
there are certain players, they become very, very tensed when it comes to sad games. I mean, myself, I always say that I can't remember in my career I've never played under pressure. And those players that you sleep and you wake up and you go and play, because I see the game that is very, very simple. You have 11 players or 10 players plus the goalkeeper. The coach will tell you that when you get the ball, give it to your colleague. It's very, very simple. If you go on the pitch and you try to do certain things that is not instructed from the coach, that's where you find yourself into trouble. So, as I said, players approach these games on their own, feeling.
Yeah.
So, what we are watching tonight, playing in the quarterfinals, knockout stage is very, very huge, and we all know the Champions League. I quite remember when they play the anthem, the Champions League anthem. You see players shouting.
Everybody speaks about the anthem.
Exactly.
It's like when you're on the pitch and the speakers are blasting that song.
Yeah, there's something about the anthem, and it's one of the when it comes to football, the big competition that we have in football. So approaching these games, I think is very fun. The feeling is there's no word to describe it.
Yeah, but look, Italian clubs have got a reputation of hard mentality, focused, discipline. Is it just a saying? Has it just become a rhetoric, or it is what it is? It is what we've come to hear. That when Italian clubs step on the pitch, Juve, AC Milan, when they were successful, this Inter Milan team, what is it with Italian clubs and their mentality and their
mentality comes from the tactical player. They are very, very tactical on the pitch. That's why when you see Italian clubs, it's difficult to just go through them.
Yeah.
Because tactically, I think when it comes to football, Italian, soccer, tactically they are the best. And that's where we get the discipline from. So you go to the matches, you have taught in training.
Yeah.
You know what to do on the pitch, so you are not scared. You just go there and have fun.
I know you don't as a Bianconeri, you don't want Inter to win, but Inter getting the job done against Bayern Munich. You've seen glimpses of that first half. What do you make of that goal? Lautaro Martinez's goal for Inter Milan.
No, okay, I haven't got there, but I saw the goal.
The goal.
Talking about Inter, I think for some years now they are dominating the Italian league. They are doing so well. We saw what happened in Istanbul, I think 3 years ago.
3 seasons ago.
Yeah. No, I think 2023.
2 years ago.
When they lost to
Man City. Yeah.
So 3 seasons.
3 seasons down.
We saw what they did, and they have some good players. And at times, I always say that it's sad. A coach like Inzaghi, nobody is talking about him, but he's doing so well.
Yeah,
he's doing so well. But you never hear
noise.
His name. So
I love him. It's a master tactician. And he's so engrossed in the game. I love Italian coaches, really. But the only Italian coach that doesn't play the goal is Carlo.
It's not just that they are tactically disciplined. Every day they are wearing sharp suits.
And even in the sharp suits, they are so engrossed. It's black. Look at Antonio Conte. Look at Allegri. The coolest Italian coach I've seen.
They take very good care of
themselves.
I used to crack jokes with other players. Back then, you never see other countries players with six-pack. By Italians, you see the white. Is that
where you go, six-pack?
No, I got it from Marcovi. So they are disciplined. They like to take very good care of themselves. They love themselves. That's why I always associate with sharp.
Let's talk about Ghana's Thomas Partey. We've seen the first time against Real Madrid. You have seen him closely with the Black Stars in many games. He's had an impressive season this time, both for the Black Stars and for Arsenal. How crucial will he be for Arsenal going in this game, especially in the second half?
He has showed it in the first half. How he's moving the ball, but I think he has to do more. More in the sense that being in the midfield, you know that Alaba has been out for so many years. You know the right side. You have Martinelli, who is very quick, very skillful. Technically, is very good. You have the other side. You have Saka. Italian coaches, they will never sleep over these things. They will take advantage. So I think they are playing the ball in the middle. They should spread the ball. They should use the flanks. They use it like 3 times, and we saw what happened. So I think he can do more. But so far so good. I'm happy to be here and watching him, and I'm happy that he's doing well.
In this game, Arsenal Real Madrid, if I pick the Arsenal team, and I'm saying that, Stephen, I need you to play in the midfield. I need you to take one player out and slot in and influence the game. Which parts of the midfield do you think you would have loved to influence?
For which team?
And I picked Arsenal for him.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah. No. I think Arsenal first. I'll do Real Madrid.
Capitano be playing for Arsenal.
I'm saying in this
No,
game. He's seen the first half, but his ability. Where would he have? Which player would he take out, and where would he have played, and how would he have influenced the game? That's a simple question.
Come on.
I said Arsenal. No. As for Real Madrid, I know who to take out for him. I'll play him alongside Modric. I'll take him off quick.
No, Arsenal team, I think they are very, very complete in the midfield. You have Declan, who is more of the time. I mean, when I was playing with Michael Essien, he was the one who do the tackling, and I would get the ball and I would do the play like a playmaker.
Yeah.
Pate is doing that. You have Odegaard, and so I think at this moment,
I would take Odegaard off and play you though. Guys, second half is about to start soon.
I have a question for Captain.
Yeah, go on.
It's more of a trivia question for you. Do you know how many Champions League games you played? Is that something you keep in your head?
wow.
I mean, think harder.
I don't have it.
You can check for him.
He knows.
How do you know?
Okay, at the quiz question.
You googled it before you came.
I think next time I have to do my research.
Would you say more or less of 20?
No less.
Less.
No less.
Not less than 20.
Not less.
No less.
You are close.
So with Juventus, I think maybe 17 or 18.
So the numbers I have, the Juve 2003-04, 7 appearances. And the following season 3, so 10. And then after Fenerbahce, your first season there, 6, played all the group stages. The following season 3, so together 18. Close to 20.
Yeah, that's close to 20.
Well done. But you know how many goals?
How many goals? I think. Okay, so I scored against Schalke 04.
As for the Schalke goal, stop there. That goal is enough. It's enough for all the goals.
That's the goal we all remember, man.
It's enough for all the goals.
I think 4 goals. 4
goals?
4 or 3 goals.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. So 4 or 5 is correct. It's interesting because I always wonder, like, how many players are very conscious of a lot of their stats, like a lot of their numbers. Like Cristiano Ronaldo is always too obsessed with his own numbers. He knows how many hat-tricks he scored. But some of you just enjoy the game and go away.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. It's a shame, I think.
Do you think it's a shame?
No, it is. It is because you have to know, and when everywhere you find yourself, when they ask you, you have to know the numbers.
But you were conscious of your Champions League numbers.
So, Capitano, would you say that the numbers as it is now was as a result of you being slowed down by injuries? Would you say that injury played a role? That's why you couldn't.
Because at a point I was out for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
especially at Fenerbahce. Because Fenerbahce could have played more. Because every season you were there, they were in the Champions League.
They were in the Champions League.
And so long as Stevie was there, he was a starter. He could have played.
Exactly.
Anyway, but Steve, the second half is underway. Your thoughts on how this could pan out?
Well, I think they should continue playing like the way they played in the first half. You see, this kind of matches is about believing in yourself, and I think that's what Arsenal did. They believe in themselves. They got the confidence in the first 15 minutes. At a point, they relaxed a bit. But Real Madrid took over. That's where you find Mbappe getting some 3 chances, and he couldn't make use of it. So playing against Real Madrid, I mean, they have to be focused. Yeah, they have to believe in themselves and continue playing like the way they are playing. We watched Real Madrid against Dortmund.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, 70 minutes, we thought Dortmund is going to win the game. But there's something about Real Madrid. At the moment you relax, they will take over the game and then they will finish you. So I think that they have to be very cautious about it.
They use espiritos.
They just have a way. They just have a way of doing it. It's incredible. It's
Did
really.
Did you ever play against Real Madrid in any of
Yes, Juventus against Real Madrid.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
That was when they had Zidane,
they have the Raúl and
those guys. Wow.
You know those Champions League. Yeah, those are the games when you are in the tunnel and you look at the players and you ask yourself that are you going to I mean, are you going to make it? Because
all look at the lineup, you're like, damn!
we're talking about the Galacticos.
But who was the most difficult opponent you faced in midfield?
In midfield, Simeone and Gattuso.
Whoa.
Yeah.
People speak highly of
That goes to war all the time.
Gattuso is something else. I mean,
he's fighting for everything.
Yes. He doesn't spare in the ball. I mean, 50-50 everywhere you see him there.
Yeah. And because it's Champions League and it's club football, who would you describe as your favorite or your best, club teammates? I know you probably have a couple. You can name them. But who would you, if you have an option?
No, Roberto Baggio.
Baggio.
Yeah.
There's a famous picture of you and Roberto Baggio actually.
And Pep.
Yes, and Pep. Yes.
Yeah, Roberto Baggio. Yeah.
Great footballer, fascinating footballer. Well, second half has begun. Please remember, those of you watching us on the show on YouTube, remember you've got an Arsenal shirt to give away. If you get your prediction,
how do you win it?
Predict correct score. So the first person to predict the score correctly is going to win
2-0.
Yamaha Pat. Are you watching on YouTube?
Yes,
are you watching on YouTube? So all of you out there doing the watching, we'll be getting through some of your messages. No changes for both teams. Still the same squad that started the first half.
Yeah.
And pretty much looks like the same shape. Coach, have you observed anything that has changed from what we saw in the first half, Coach? Coach?
Yeah.
Have you observed anything that has changed from what we saw in the first half?
Not really. Real Madrid has come back into the game and they are still very compact. When Arsenal has the ball, they just allow them to have it in their half. They are very happy having Saliba pass the ball to Kivior back to Saliba, Kivior back to Saliba. They are happy with the Arsenal defenders passing the ball among themselves. My worry with Arsenal is that, yes, they don't have a target man, but Mourinho is doing something very intelligent. He's stepping out to receive the ball. When he steps out, somebody will have to go and fill his void to engage. You see, this is where he picks up the ball.
This is the problem.
You see,
so he
steps
in field to receive the ball, and there's no player beyond him.
That is it.
So even if he wanted to lay
and he
off the
also
pass for a run, they're not late runners.
Exactly.
For a lot of time that Arsenal has no. You don't always play with target man in football. These days it's become.
Yes, so the movement should have been.
But the typical old blasters, the 2006 squad. If the main striker has stepped into midfield to pick the ball, it means somebody has moved from either midfield or right.
Exactly. Or right wing diagonally into the post.
The most important thing is to have numbers to make
ahead of the ball.
The ball easier.
Yeah. And coach, I think you're right. Once he steps in,
somebody will have to go and be there and engage Rudiger and co. Or else they are just picking up the loose balls. They think will pass.
And Rudiger is doing Takashi things at the back.
Is it also because maybe Saka and Martinelli are too wide?
Yes.
And so when he steps in and takes a centre back along, nobody's feeling.
Oh boy, what a pass!
Look at that. Side netting. You see, you mentioned Rudiger. I think he's the last of the old-fashioned defenders. The last breed of the old-fashioned, the ones who have played this team at PS time, where it's let's go to business. There's no playing around here.
It's too much brawn.
I mean, he's the kind of player you like.
When he was playing City,
Chelsea.
City.
Yes.
No, Chelsea. Sorry, Chelsea. It was like that. But I mean, when you play with good players, you tend to be a good player as well.
Yeah.
So today we are seeing him. I mean, giving long passes, passing the balls. Very intelligent at the back.
That's it.
So I mean, play with good players. You tend to be a good player as well.
And I think
so. That's the thing, right? Like when you play with better players, it makes you better.
It steps the game up if you are willing to.
But if you watch the history of Real Madrid too, whenever they've had all these A-list, whether it's midfielders, forwards, and the rest. So when they were struggling for La Decima, that's when Claude Makalele gained a reputation for being the guy. In the olden days, Fernando Hierro. Real Madrid had all the great players, even when Raul was there. But Hierro was.
He was the glue.
The guy who holds the team. And I think Rudiger has become a bit like that. So Real Madrid has everything. The guy who can pass the ball, the one who will do the catcher, the one who can run. But do they have somebody who is camping enough to get them where they want to go to? And I think that's what Rudiger provides in a very, very effective way. Look at what he did with the penalty in the Atletico Madrid. That was leadership.
I think I read from somewhere. He said he took that spot kick to save the Hendrick.
He said he watched the boy's face.
Yes, the boy. If he misses, he said if he misses, he said if he misses, he's Rudiger. He can take the whole pressure and disappointment. But when he looked at Hendrick's face, it was like this could kill the boy's career. So he would take the penalty for him. And like you said, he nearly missed that. I mean, it was lucky enough the ball went through. You know.
We'll see, but I think so far I've been very impressed with Arsenal, to be honest. I think they just need to hold on and keep holding on. But there's a bit of drama in the Inter game, close
I think there was a hint of a handball. I think Kimmich had his hand close to him, but yeah, it won't be given. I don't think it's going to be a pen. But it's still 1-0 to Inter. Lautaro Martinez scored that brilliant goal on the cusp of halftime in that game. So yeah, it's still it.
Oteje, I'm going to sack you and bring in Nicky Simonas. So go and relax. I'm bringing a woman. Thank you.
Oh, look at this. What is this? No, he bumped into him. How is this a yellow card?
Potter has been yellow carded. Coach, talk us through that. What happened?
No, I mean, there you go. What, he gives the ball.
Replay.
Well, okay. I think Potter knew what he was doing. I mean, Potter knew what he was doing there. Anyway, welcome, Nicky. Thank you for joining the show. You've just lit up the sets like
Nicky and Stevie. I don't understand why they've not been on the podcast yet, and this is their first time here.
Nicky's busy running her stuff.
She's busy.
I watch her podcast a lot.
Have you heard?
I'm busy.
Nicky is busy. He's busy.
Now.
We don't have work.
So always they are there.
We don't get anything to do.
Every day we go and sit down there and short. And I got this.
Your work, you always leave the pipes.
Odiki, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely to have you.
Are you enjoying the game?
Sure. Okay.
Are you enjoying the game?
No, I'm not.
Because man, you are not there.
No.
Shame on you.
Behave yourself. What is that? How can you shame a man? Be very careful.
We are talking
You
about.
will never do this for a Man U game.
We are talking about Champions League. You are talking about Man U. Respect yourself.
You see your life.
Sad. Maybe next season we're not going to play Champions League.
No.
I'm a Man U fan.
Yeah, Man U fan. Don't worry.
We'll win the Europa. We'll play. We'll win the Europa. We'll play.
We have to.
But you've been observing the game from the start. What have you made of the two teams? Arsenal at home, Real Madrid.
Arsenal is trying. I mean, they tried with a couple of goals. Trying
Pass
to
it.
Nicky only watches Man U.
She's been watching this game. She's been watching the game.
She said the two teams are both not play anything.
I think you see the Arsenal team, they are touching the ball too. One, two. The build-up is very, very slow.
Very slow. There you go.
Watch it.
That was a bit slow.
Corner. No. Corner. Nicky.
Yes. So what I realized the first half was that Arsenal was really pushing.
Yeah.
They were really trying to make one or two, and eventually, we saw what we saw.
Who are you backing in this game?
We saw what we saw.
Who are you backing in this game?
I don't support anybody. Like Steven said.
Why you don't have rivals in this match? This is a Champions League
and then
game.
come in Real Madrid. I won't come and film.
Me team will support her.
Oh, me and Man U anymore.
Red Devil. Red Devil, don't you?
To the baddest.
Man U,
What about you?
You see the problem.
What about you?
I don't know what Man U have done for the guy men and women.
Okay, Mini.
All Man U fans.
Mini.
What do you mean? I support Chelsea.
Paul and
You said Chelsea
play in the Conference League.
You said Chelsea, you can't sit comfortably because you are shy. You are shy. They say Chelsea, you sunk in the chair like this.
It's like a pass it.
Pass
it. You know that Champions League and Conference League both start with C. So if you write CL, you can mistake it for Champions League.
Ask him, when was the last time he even watched a Chelsea Conference League game?
Thank you.
Be honest, don't lie.
52 minutes.
They don't even watch their own game.
But Stephen, what do you make of Nicky? Sorry, what do you make of Thomas's performance so far?
He's trying. I can see that he's trending on Twitter already.
That's yellow card.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about him. I think it's just because of the yellow card, because he wasn't there before. And when I followed up, he's been the talk of the match since he got the yellow card. But I think so he'll be fine.
I think the problem here is it has to do with the way Arteta has instructed them to play. Because Thomas, we know, is a very good passer of the ball. He can take risk. He's that sort of player. But it's like Arteta has told them, if you're not going to get that risky pass right,
they want it to be perfect.
Then keep the ball.
Coach, this is a good chance.
In such games, it's not only about, it's about moving the ball.
From who?
Take the risk.
Saka or Declan?
Who takes this free kick?
I think Saka.
I don't expect him to.
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice is going to sweep it.
Oh! You know what I nearly said? I nearly said it was too long to beat Courtois.
That's a good one.
I think
Declan Rice.
Courtois should have done better.
What a goal!
Fought the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Courtois should have done better.
His quality.
Yeah. Courtois, even he knows. Even he knows.
I nearly said he's not going to beat Courtois from there.
Anyway, just to tell those who are watching, is that Arsenal have taken the lead, and it's a thumping free kick from Declan Rice. It's like what 29, 30 yards. 29, 30 yards, I think. I've seen it again, but whipped it around the wall. And Thibaut Courtois, for the quality that he's got, he wasn't reaching it.
It went around.
Thibaut Courtois wasn't reaching it. That was perfect. Like that zoomed straight in.
You remember that Roberto Carlos free kick?
Roberto Carlos free kick, yeah.
This is that.
That is a proper in-swinger.
Wow.
No, the goalkeeper can't do anything about it.
Well, yeah, on nights like this, you need something special.
But would you question the position of the wall?
Yes,
Because
so
for the ball to have been, I think there were three. There were three.
Oh, then
that's where the
mistake,
problem
then.
is.
No, but that three, they were four.
No, I think there were three.
They were four.
That's
But
He took it around the
look,
wall.
I won't blame the wall because the bend was around the wall.
But we have to give the credit to the player.
No, it's a massive hit. It's an incredible hit.
Yeah, he kissed so well.
So Declan Rice has given Arsenal the lead. That is why they paid what? 90 million pounds for him.
100
million pounds for him
really well.
from West Ham. So, yeah.
You see, sometimes this is what I like about the Champions League: heroes stepping up.
Yeah.
Because behind that free kick, he's the last player anybody would have thought would attempt it. Because when I ask who takes this one, literally everybody says Saka.
It was poised for a left foot. You know, and Saka has got a good whip.
And left-footed could have gone this, could have gone that.
Yeah.
So look at how difficult it was. Maybe that was what contributed to Courtois not being able to. He was expecting Saka.
That was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Maybe Courtois was expecting Saka, and that would have been a comfortable save for him.
You know, this is typical. If Arsenal were always going to score, it was going to come from
a set piece.
There you go.
Very typical of Real Madrid.
But Stephen, what would be the thinking of Arsenal now? Would they want to still go and look for the second, or now they want to protect what they have?
Well, I mean, the instruction will come from the coach. We have the coach here, and for me, they shouldn't think of defending the goal. They should play their game. Maybe they will get a second goal.
Yeah. But look, Roberto Carlos on the screen. I think it's because of the, like you said, it's a freaking just like. Look at that again. The wall is 4. The one I think is perfect, but it's brilliant. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Nobody's saving that.
It's just brilliant. It's perfect. It really is.
Well, the only person who could have saved this, in my opinion, is
Roberto Sanchez.
Oh my God! I was already saying that Arsenal has been playing really good.
Did he save this one easily?
Oh boy!
Yes.
I mean, never actually say.
Take care. Ah man, what a night! What a night! But you see, I'm not totally surprised though, because the last time Arsenal met Real Madrid in the Champions League, they knocked them out. And Thierry Henry scored at the Bernabeu.
And that was 2006. Does that matter really?
Yeah. No, you see, I'm trying to say that there is certain history is important. Sometimes that attitude, you take it into, because Thierry Henry is at the game.
Yeah, he is at the game.
Some talk.
For sure, absolutely. I think the whole week he would have been at the training side.
He was the first player to kick these guys out. So he would know what it's like.
Yes, Pate. Oh, Padine.
You understand? So, you know,
Kamavinga. And now perhaps Real Madrid would have to be a lot more adventurous, and that could play into the hands of Arsenal because
honestly, I mean, Arsenal they've
done well. Yeah.
Look, from the start.
Yeah.
And I think they'll have to slow it down for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Then they up it again because this is good.
Cross the ball.
Okay.
Alaba is struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling.
I think Ancelotti has given it to him in the reset because in that first half it was relatively too easy for Saka. Saka was just dancing past him. But in the second half, I think he's done very, very well.
The guy scored 2 own goals the last time he started in the Copa del Rey.
And you know, this is the fourth match in the last 5 games where Real Madrid have considered from a set piece.
They are zone marking again.
You know,
have you seen?
So,
but it's not because of how Arsenal's players position themselves. Because if you got about 4 players on the fast stick,
so
you don't want to go and mark them there.
So is it a corner kick? It's a corner kick now for Arsenal.
They should be facing.
And they could score from here.
The party is going.
So the corner is swung in, and Courtois collects this one easily. But Arsenal are so dangerous on the set pieces, man.
Yeah, that's their weapon. But I always thought because Gabriel wasn't going to play tonight, they were going to miss. Because even when he's not scoring, his runs are very distracting because he's prolific from those situations. So a lot of the teams pay attention to Gabriel, and sometimes they leave the likes of Rice and Thomas Partey to score. But when he's not playing, Arsenal don't tend to necessarily score the same volume of goals from set pieces. Because Gabriel is just like he's a bulldozer when it comes to the set piece. Yeah. You know, so
Capitano, you've scored a few free kicks in your career.
Yeah.
What's the trick to getting the right bend and the right height for the ball to dip? Because too many players, either they will hit the wall, or when it goes over the wall, it goes over the bar. Like, what's the trick?
Oh, there's no trick. I mean, you have to learn it from training. That's why you have players like Cristiano Ronaldo. You have players like Alex de Sousa. When there is a free kick, for them it's like a penalty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because 95% they know that they are going to score.
The reason why, as Ghanaians, most of our players don't tend to do things like this. We don't have the logistics to get them to practice. Exactly. You played in Europe.
Yeah.
There is this monument of
see,
they are there, and then normally they are put in the most difficult situation for the players to try their hands on it. So those players will see the human beings, and you remember that, look, I do this in training almost regularly, so I can bend it. Because for Declan Rice to have just done what he just did,
it's from training.
Yeah, it's from training.
yeah, it's got to be practice.
But you know, Stephen, sometimes the players, they can do all the training.
But when it comes to match day,
wait. Then they will do it. Then last minute we need goal. Then they'll catch the ball. Then they'll press the ball.
Akabaruso.
Are you taking us back to?
Look, you know that game? I was standing behind the post too. The post.
You are the stadium.
I was in the stadium.
money I leave
The post.
Chalaba, they change the ball. Press the ball when they change up.
He go tell the referee say ball ajo. Man, I say ball na bamajo. It's I'm new ball.
play Chabole.
Wait, you know the thing they be about now. Sile dey here, extended here. So make everybody give up place. Wait, no one give me confidence.
Yeah.
You see one time.
But you see that?
My friend, you know in guided.
You see, normally, from the way he behaved, you could clearly see he's not used to taking free kick.
No, you see,
but if that was Steve or somebody, you will not create that scene.
Considering the taking in training.
No, but considering the fact that
after and he went back and Totti told him that the moment he placed the ball, he knew he was going to miss.
No, because Paul the AFCON, he has scored some 2 belters. He has scored some 2 belters, like some shots in AS Roma.
But friend, I wanted to ask Capito, his time with the Stars, who was the best free kick taker?
Olai Kisen.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I knows how to bend the ball.
Yeah, he's got a good question. Even from corners.
Like 5 minutes. So Arsenal have done well.
No, they have played well. Very, very well today.
But I also think they might need another extra goal. Because in as much as there is no away goal, 1-0 win to Bernabeu might not be enough for them.
It's not safe.
At all. Especially when you know when the Susu
they put fear into everybody. You are winning your own home, but you're like, it's not enough.
Have you seen their stadium?
It's amazing.
You yourself,
you shake.
Yeah.
You shake.
But a team that have won 6 Champions League since 2009.
That's crazy.
You have to have that fear factor.
Oh wow! Madrid win again.
No, faith. These are some of the things that allow Madrid to win the Champions League.
That was Alaba.
Let's go through them.
So
first one
shoots and Alaba blocks it. Alaba blocks on the line.
Second one from Merino.
Alaba blocks it.
Alaba blocks.
And then Courtois
Third one
up on his feet.
No, this is
Alaba. What a block.
And there's a third one
From Merino again. And Courtois. Back on his feet. Brilliant save.
Damn it. When they say keepers can win you games, this is it.
And you see, Oti just said something. Several times that Madrid have won the Champions League, Courtois don't get a credit.
Another goal line clearance by Real Madrid. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Rudiger clearing the ball off the line again. Arsenal really piling the pressure on.
They should make use of this momentum.
But now I'm scared.
For Madrid?
No.
Referee, foul ball. You see the referee? You should have taken the ball forward.
You know the three saves or the three blocks, if you like. The most impressive one for me was the Alaba one, because when the ball went after Courtois made the save, he didn't go towards the ball. He didn't go.
This is what you are talking about.
Bellingham. This Bellingham's block. Yeah, Bellingham off the line again. That was going in.
Wow.
That was going.
How many balls off the line from Real Madrid?
Two now.
And even the first half, Courtois made some two double saves.
Yeah.
But Sijo, you see, that's why I totally agree with what Oti said. Several times when Madrid have won the Champions League, Courtois have been their man of the match.
Yeah, he has.
But credit have always been given to the offensive.
Even when they were winning it, when they had the other goalkeeper, the guy from South America, what's the name?
Neves.
He was also putting up some
excellent saves. But you see, that is the difference between Madrid and other teams not winning the Champions League. Madrid would have buried all these chances that Arsenal is creating.
If it had come their way,
they would have buried it.
But see, I mean, we know Alaba struggled today, but experience matters. If you look at the ball he blocked, when Courtois made the save, instead of a younger defender is going to try and go and close down, but what he does is retreat from the back and go on the line. But he knows his goalkeeper is on the ground, and he makes the block. Like, it's very sharp thinking from him.
Can you see a second Declan Rice free kick?
No, you beat Courtois twice. I was wrong the first time, so don't hold me to it. Maybe then this one is set up for Odegaard. Then it's around again.
Yeah, the same.
You know, this time around, if it's. I think Rice will fancy it.
Another free kick for
Rice will fancy it.
But
Odegaard standing over it.
If the Rice scored this, we go.
I told you. What? I told you.
No. This is not true. This is not true. This is a proper tornado. This is not real. This is a proper tornado. This is not real. This is a proper tornado. This is not real.
After training, I think that this guy is practicing for.
This is not real.
1 hour.
Wow.
Take a bow.
As if I knew.
Take a bow.
As if I knew.
Take a bow.
No way.
Another one. No. Wow.
What a day.
He has been practicing.
Wow.
And so we've been talking about games like this where
No. How many times in a player's career do you get a perfect game like this?
Impossible.
He had never.
Ballon d'Or.
But friends, you see, when you have a game like this where both teams it's so close to predict,
you need these moments.
Individual
Special moments like this.
To come, and this
special
is
moments like this.
Rice is doing.
No. You know what? I know the reason.
Why?
Because today we are doing Mallam Goal podcast here. These are Mallam goals.
These are Mallam goals.
I mean, how?
These are Mallam goals. Wow.
But I can't remember one of the episodes we were describing why the name Mallam goes. Hey.
Fence, you know, say, as Rice the captain, I thought, like the captain say, if Rice score, I don't go out. I don't talk with the guy.
I ask you, can you see another Declan Rice free kick?
Now Declan Rice and all your wine. All your rice. What is this?
No, but this one will be too Jimmy.
Wow.
Whoa. You are speechless.
Wow.
Like, have you ever seen this in your whole life?
Perfect.
Wow.
Not even Cristiano Ronaldo has ever done this.
Wow.
That what?
Wow.
What has done?
What has Rice done?
Has Cristiano Ronaldo ever scored
Wow.
2 free kicks against Real Madrid?
Why? How many times he played against Real Madrid?
He's never done it. The guy is on the hat-trick goal.
He's been practicing because if you look at the way the run and the bend and the oh boy,
you know when he was in West Ham,
he knew if he hits it well and it's on target, he will score.
No, to be fair to him, and in West Ham, he was taking free kicks. He scored a couple in West Ham.
Yeah,
but it never really became his strength. But
I think these two
on a stage like this,
Bayern 2, they are scoring them. They are bringing
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In 2 years, you see me in Real Madrid. That's how they buy players.
Yeah. When you start against them, they are looking at bringing you in. Meanwhile, it's still 1-0 against Bayern Munich. Serge Gnabry and Thomas Müller have been called upon.
You want to score goal? You are bringing Rastaman.
Why?
Bayern Munich, they are not serious.
Saka is limping off for Arsenal. Hopefully, it's not something massive.
But the real excitement is that
he's created 2 free kicks.
Yeah.
Saka won both free kicks. And Rice, as if he knew, because I was telling, but as if he was playing for the free kick. So they are aware. This is the man of the match, Thomas Partey. What?
What the hell?
It's one of those games where, when you look at Carlo Ancelotti, you're not too sure what to blame him for, because how do you stop these free kicks? Look, in a more serious note,
I think this has to be one of those games where Thibaut Courtois has been absolutely magical in his performance, and yet he's conceded 2 world-class goals, and you can't blame him. Like Thibaut Courtois has been excellent in this match. And that's what they talk about, like
footballer.
That numbers, numbers are not on it. Because one day somebody will go and sit down and do an argument and say that, oh, Courtois was no yeah, better now.
Try right there, beginning.
Rice I should 3-0 for Arsenal. There we go. Wow. Hey, now,
Mikel Merino has scored a brick. That is a striker's finish. That is a striker's finish from Mikel Merino. That is a striker's finish. That's a striker's finish. That's a striker's finish.
So like joke. Arsenal will reach Champions League semi-final.
Hey, I'm a threat.
Boy. I don't want to do that show again. I don't want to do that.
Offside.
Why they go? Your position, anybody.
Striker's finish. It's not difficult. It's not an easy finish. It's not easy. That is not an easy finish. Wow.
It's so beautiful.
Anyway, the good news for Arsenal fans is that Mikel Arteta won't sign a striker. Who needs a striker when you have Mikel Merino? So Arteta will go and spend more money on centre backs, and then Mikel Merino will be his go-to striker.
Basisho, I was earlier on talking about Arsenal need to score an additional goal. Thankfully, they've had 2 more goals, but I'm just praying that they don't concede, because should they concede in this game, Madrid will have.
Real Madrid don't believe what is happening to them. Look at them. Every player,
everybody's stunned.
But he's shocked.
And even back,
he's shocked.
Look, before the game, when we started this, I told you guys that everything that is happening today is expected. Maybe the margin, but this has been coming. Sociedad put 4 past Real Madrid. In the last 3 games that they played, they considered 8 goals.
This game is different. It's different. The goals that Madrid have considered today are not necessarily on bad defending, poor marking, loose marking.
The goals aside, Arsenal could still have been 3-0 up. There's been 2 underlying clearances.
No, actually, not to cut you. Even in the first half, they could have scored 2 goals in there.
Look, let's face it. This game has not been a contest. Yes, Madrid have had their containment plan, but they've not laid a glove on Arsenal. They've not created a single chance.
No, they have. Mbappe has missed the chance.
The first half there,
Two times they went close were all as a result of mistakes that Arsenal made. But in terms of they fashioning out an attacking plan or a product.
Promotion to bar.
Look, for me, this performance is very similar to everything we've seen from Madrid in the last month. That's why at the beginning of the show I said...
It's a summary of how inconsistent they've been throughout the season.
At the beginning of the show I said, you cannot be as bad as they've been for that long and then all of a sudden wake up because it's Champions League. You have to fix those issues. Look, in the Champions League games where Real Madrid have recorded their huge comebacks, there's been a significant departure from the problems that we all complain about.
Nobody saw this.
Sicho will tell you about that substitution in the game against Bayern. But also,
no, I'm saying the two. Look, and in football, goals change games. Yes. Goals do change games. Before Declan Rice scored, the game was fairly balanced.
It was coming.
Now it wasn't. I don't think it was. I don't think it was. After Declan Rice's goal was when the goal line clearances came.
Even before the first goal. No.
Arsenal, I mean, they were ahead of.
No, I agree. They're playing better.
Before the first goal, Arsenal had 1 chance cleared off the line in the first half. They had 3 chances that were begging. Nobody simply.
No. They had good balls across the face. I won't call them a chance. There's nobody there. There are no chances.
But I'm saying that
there are scenarios. They are good scenarios.
For a simple tackling.
Yeah.
They have been the team. Yes, they've made mistakes. They've looked tentative, but they have forced the issue. They have gotten into very good positions. You can't say the same for Real Madrid.
Okay, so this is the thing. I'm saying Arsenal's playing out. Arsenal's a very decent side, a very good side. They are playing at home. The first half ball across the face of goal and all of that. It's all well and good. I won't say it's down to maybe Real Madrid not necessarily playing well or defending well. But Arsenal are playing at home. They've got a weapon. They can cross the balls across the face. That's good. But I'm saying that up onto the 1-0. Up onto the 1-0. The game was Madrid were okay. Because as soon as the Rice's free kick went in, then all of a sudden Madrid had to open up. There are 2 goal line clearances. Couture makes 2 saves. The second free kick goes in, and everything is like crazy. Don't also.
Hey, everything cool. Charlie,
you know where Madrid shirts? So they beat you.
No.
Bring my Arsenal man in.
No.
Bring my Arsenal man in.
See, I not be Madrid fan.
But you know where the shirts?
No. And you see, I be Arsenal hater. Difference day. Okay. I be Arsenal hater. I be Madrid fan. Oh no. I be United fan.
So yeah.
So come on, puppy.
You don't support any team they play Arsenal.
Exactly. It be new just you.
Yeah, it be fresh.
I buy today. You go see they see the Lions with and draw.
But I know they be for Arsenal. I know they be for Madrid. What happened?
You see, I'm on the side of the spectrum where Namland, it's good for. We are all brothers. We are all brothers in this. Yes. So it's good. It's good for the EPL. That's at least.
But Charlie, magical night. I'm not sure you are even expecting it.
Me?
Yeah.
I was expecting
3-0.
No.
Let's be honest.
Madrid is showing what?
But 3-0.
I wanted 8-7.
Hey, Charlie.
See, that match they played against City. They don't play anything. In City where they are.
But the rising free kicks there, it be wild. The rising free kicks, it be wild. Like we don't know see they come. But it's a barrier.
People say low key, people know say it be good. A free kick.
Oh no. Me, I thought about say as they West Ham. They take the free kicks than the corners than things. It's close for free kicks for West Ham when me I see. Yeah. But I come Arsenal, I know should I see.
They're the confidence day.
Yeah.
You see, we talk to them in secret. We went with a mission, minded, focused. They didn't see anybody.
So right now Arsenal will win the Champions League.
Oh no.
But sure, you know one thing, I think that in as much as Arsenal have been good offensively with the free kick and the set pieces, we are failing to give credit to how defensively good they've been.
Arsenal have been solid.
Yeah, because for any team to stop Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrigo in any game, you need to give, especially when we know Gabriel wasn't available. Saliba,
they are lacking.
You understand? I think that we need to give credit to Arsenal.
Use them because
we have witnessed a lot of miracles when it comes to Madrid in the Champions League. But should they overturn these particular results, bro?
It will be Bayern Barca part 2. Honestly, I feel like especially in this second half, Mbappe has been nowhere to be seen.
Is it still?
It has been Arsenal.
Yeah. After the second half, Arsenal blow them.
Yeah, Arsenal has held it down throughout this.
But Marino and go be wild though.
Look, my disappointment with Madrid is that in this game, your approach should have been to walk away with something.
Yeah, but they're walking away with the 3 goals. They're walking away with it.
No, at least they could have gone home with a draw. That would have been way better. We go to Bernabeu.
There was no way this game would have ended goalless.
No, it wasn't.
I should say
probably a scoring draw. Maybe that's.
I should say for
maybe like a 2-2 or 1-1.
They're like, no, yeah. As they consider the second goal, they were like, yeah, no,
they can do it. But the third one was the dangerous one.
If Madrid don't get 1 goal before the end of the game, some way, because 3-0 it's Madrid, I don't want to bet against these guys.
You can never. I always say that there's a difference between the previous Madrid teams that executed those comebacks. Those teams did not have this sustained period of bad games. Like even against Bayern, we knew the tie was close, but everyone had belief because before that.
So actually, not to cut you, Bayern have gotten an equalizer.
Yeah, Bayern have Thomas Müller scored for Bayern.
Old wine
came off the bench and for Bayern.
Come on,
he just announced that he was leaving at the end of the season. He's got to go. I mean, he's not played this season. He's not played enough games.
Played much. I think also because of the contract situation.
Yeah.
Bayern pretty much made up their mind very early on that they were not going to give him contract extension. And when these things happen, it obviously will play on the mind of the manager, and so he's not played as much this season. But on nights like this, he's still one of the big guys to turn to.
And for Thomas Müller, it's typical Müller goal, lurking around the good area. Hurricane fights with a good ball, or Lima fights with a good ball, and he taps it home. Well, it's been disappointing night for Real Madrid's front 3. Like, we don't see them. We don't see Mbappe. We don't see Rodrigo. We don't see Vini.
That's the thing. It's disappointing, but you can never ever just look away and underestimate them, because if they turn it on, we are dead. So we have to keep them pocketed. Otherwise we are dead.
But those boys, they be mafias.
What do you think about when they go to Bernabeu? Because Charlie, that atmosphere is different too.
No, you know why I feel that at this particular point it will be difficult for Madrid to overturn that result. They are not even keeping clean sheets at the Santiago Bernabeu. That is the problem. Because if you want to stay in the tie, you have to keep clean sheets. They can win at the Bernabeu. Now there is no away goal rule. They can win 3-2, 3-1, 2-1. The fact is, Madrid won't keep a clean sheet against this Arsenal team at the Bernabeu. And that is why I feel that if Arsenal should maintain this 3-0 scoreline, the tie is over.
Arsenal is walking away with the win. Arsenal is walking away with the win. It's looking like
I think that the Bernabeu, Arsenal can start the game like the way they started it today. You know, in the first 10 minutes they were slipping all over the place on loose passes. If Madrid scores early at Bernabeu, it completely changes everything. But I mean, that is some days away from now. Now let's focus on how well they are able to close out this victory, or perhaps even inflict more misery on Real Madrid.
So at this point, do you go for the 4th goal or you defend the 3-0?
I'll keep the 3-0. I'll keep the 3-0.
It's a huge lead.
I won't be naive too.
I'll be pragmatic.
I was telling him earlier on that Madrid against a strong Madrid, if you don't take any chance you get,
they'll punish you.
Yes, you have to take any chance, and that's what they are doing.
No, but what's also crazy to me is the fact that Courtois has been phenomenal, but Arsenal hasn't stopped. Because honestly, my morale would have gone down. We see the saves this guy has made.
The guy is saved ball.
I hope people don't forget about it. Because honestly,
you can't blame Courtois for the 3 goals conceded.
None of them.
My only problem is that if I'm a coach or I'm a set piece coach.
All right. So Inter Milan have scored again. It's Davide Fratese who has now scored in the 87th minute at the Bayern Munich Allianz Stadium, and Inzaghi is happy, as you can expect. But I I think.
But it's not surprising. They've been the best team in the Champions League this season.
Yeah, they have.
So they, they played better in this particular game as well.
Right now, we are shifting our support to PSG.
But PSG, Aston Villa go score them. Aston Villa go score PSG.
Okay, give up.
Vemo.
Villa score them. We shift our support to Villa.
Okay.
I say it's good for England.
Davide Fratesi, I'm sweeps it home.
No, it's good for England because of the 5 Champions League slot.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, come on. Well, for our brothers, maybe who knows? Maybe United will be able to make top 5 next season. I mean,
I'm play top 5.
Charlie. Yeah, you there today? I'm Madrid, but.
Yeah, Charlie, true. But the game on commentary, and he's supporting Arsenal for this game, and he's on commentary. Charlie will die. So we've got 3 minutes in that game against Arsenal and Real Madrid at the Emirates. Arsenal 3 goals to be good. 2 brilliant free kicks from Declan Rice, and also a very lovely sweeping finish by Mikel Merino.
On that free kick, I'll forgive Madrid for conceding that first free kick, but the second free kick, similar situation, similar arrangement of the
same
wall,
player,
and that is why I am very disappointed in the wall, because you consider the first goal from Rice.
The wall is Courtois' decision.
He said?
The wall is Courtois' decision.
But was there a problem with the wall though?
Who do I blame? Because it looks
it was perfect. You can't blame anybody. No, I believe in football there are goals where you can't blame anybody for.
I won't take the credit away from Rice, but I also have to blame Madrid for conceding a similar goal within a space of how many minutes? 15, 12 minutes.
But how are they going to stop it? How are they going to stop it? That's my question.
Maybe
it was perfect.
Maybe move from. You cannot I don't know how they were going to do it.
Did you see the first?
No, I'm coming. The reason why they could have prevented it, Madrid had 3 players lining up for the wall. Arsenal had equally 3 players lining up beside the Madrid players. When Rice took the ball, the Arsenal players decided that they were going to open up for that Rice free kick to pass through them, and it's the same thing they did for the second goal.
No,
but it was a different type of
shot. That's not where the ball passed. The first free kick, the wall went behind the wall.
Yes,
it curled. The wall behind the wall. Like there was no stop player there.
Yeah.
The ball. If you look at the curl,
the edge of where the Arsenal players had.
No, it had curved. The first Real Madrid play. In fact, when you look at the bend of the ball had gone off target and bent back on target.
That was how the ball was. But the second one was more of a shot. Upright top corner.
The second one went in between the
top corner. The Arsenal players. Yes.
Top corner.
The only reason I agree with you is they should have seen the space opening was an opportunity for them to shoot through there.
So at least they should have gotten
one idea or something. But then again, to the wall is his decision.
At least a meter
decision. He told the players to stand there. So
when you set the wall, there's supposed to be at least a meter between the attacking team's wall if they want and the defending team's wall. So Arsenal capitalized on, but it's the execution. Charlie, top corner, Courtois is the mountain, but he couldn't reach it. It was inch perfect.
It was a powerful shot.
Look, Madrid's biggest problem tonight.
Look at it.
Hey, look at that. Look at the second one.
How could you stop that?
Charlie, you can't stop it.
You can't stop this, bro.
You can't stop it. There's no stopping that.
No, but I actually love the third goal.
No, as for the third goal, they're superb.
The third goal is
another player would have taken a first touch.
Yeah.
And then that opportunity would have.
But look, Madrid's problem tonight is that they were completely outcoached. Ancelotti has completely been outcoached in the sense that, yes, they have looked solid in spurts. I think the first half of the game, but in the second half, they simply could not play. They could not stretch the Arsenal defense. I don't think Raya has made any significant save or intervention in tonight's game.
He made one good save, I think, from Mbappe in the 31st minute.
Yeah, that was in the first half.
But that's just been
this second
what
half
Madrid had offered them. And for me, that's not good enough, because
that's not good enough.
That's not good enough. The first leg with something to protect, something to build on in the reverse fixture. And the fact that
Real Madrid is losing form, but we don't see because they are good.
No, but you also shouldn't forget the fact that there have been seasons where Madrid haven't been exceptional, but they've gone on to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
once they win, we think, but Charlie, you only see
But they've got big decisions to do with the squad, not just in terms of the defense, but even with the midfield options that they've got, because they have to make a decision on Luka Modric. Camavinga is into his 5th season at the beginning of next season. He is
in 5 seasons already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Camavinga joined in 2019, 2020. Wow. He is yet to lock down a particular position. He's yet to even be given the opportunity to have a consistent run in one position for us to see and say that, okay, he's excellent as a holding midfield and box to box or left side central midfield, whatever the options
or defensive midfield.
But Madrid have got a decision to make, because look, this experiment of today Camavinga is left back, tomorrow he's playing in as a holding midfielder, the next time is left central midfield, the other time is box to box. For Camavinga's own progress, there needs to be a certain clarity. Yes, playing for Real Madrid is still a big draw, so you want to be there, but you want your tenure at the club to have a bit more meaning, right? So yes, they've won all of these titles, but I don't think Camavinga can feel a sense of ownership the way Rudiger will feel. Because Rudiger has decided big games for Madrid in the competition. Vinicius has decided big games for Madrid in the competition. And for him, I'm thinking that at the time he joined Real Madrid, he probably expected that beyond the titles, beyond the accolades, on a personal level, he would expect that 5 years into his Real Madrid stay,
that's a red card for him.
One of the
Camavinga has been sent off.
Speaking of the devil.
I mean, Camavinga has been sent off for a very shocking second yellow card. He's already on the yellow card. Referee gives a foul and he takes the ball away. Then now he's been sent off. Camavinga will miss the next leg.
That's a huge.
Camavinga.
You don't even ask any questions.
You just go. Atu was just pointing out the inconsistency.
But you changed the guy, Charlie. You badmouth on Sunday.
Why you saw it coming?
You badmouth the guy, sir.
Because yes, he's collected the titles. He's had the medals and everything.
But the inconsistency in his position.
I'm sure at the time he signed his first Real Madrid contract, his expectation would have been that 5 years into his stay at Real Madrid, I should be part of the best midfielders in the world. The reality is he's not.
He can't stay fit. He can't hold the position down. He's never consistent enough. I mean,
not just him.
He's got a raw ability that.
Honestly, I haven't been impressed about him. I don't think he's a Madrid man.
So it's full time, and it's Inter Milan who have done the business in Munich. They beat Bayern Munich by 2 goals to 1. Goals from Lautaro Martinez and Davide Fratesi. In between those goals for Thomas Müller equalizing for Bayern Munich, but only briefly. But in London, that is where the big story is. The real one is it's Arsenal 3, Real Madrid, the Gunners, with 2 goals.
For England.
Look, this has been a bloodbath. When you think of the great performances in the Champions League nights where one team was utterly dominant, this is one of those, except Arsenal did it in a very different way. They didn't batter Real Madrid with incessant attacks or wave after waves of attack, but they made sure that Real Madrid simply could not play. They suffocated them, stopped them from playing, got the goals that is effectively decide the tie. And this is one. Because, and I keep telling people, the Real Madrid that gave us comeback after comeback at the Bernabeu is very different from the current iteration we're seeing. They went into those games on the back of very good performances, didn't start those games well, but because there was a muscle memory, because there were players on form, because the team itself had been playing very well and was on the back of a good rhythm, they were able to come back against City, against Chelsea, against Bayern Munich. In all of those games, they were able to do it. But this is, look, Madrid are struggling to beat Leganés, Valencia, Real Sociedad. in the Champions
AC Milan.
Exactly. In the and see, I keep telling people, let's not forget how they got here. They finished 11th in the league phase of the problems that resulted in that standing have not gone away. Against Man City, yes, it looked like they were coming back into their fold. But since then, in the build-up to this, Ancelotti's responses in the pre-match presser just gave away where his thinking is and where Real Madrid are. He said he appreciates the fact that people are criticizing him, but the one person whose opinion matters to him is the most important person at the club, and that's Florentino Perez. So even him is not running away from the fact that they have been poor, and that the fact that they've been poor can come with consequences. He's only banking on the fact that for the time being, Ancelotti retains faith in him, but they have not been good for a long time, and what we are seeing today is exactly the sort of performance we expected from them.
But I should credit to Arsenal. I think that
absolutely.
I was worried about them defensively and offensively, and I wasn't surprised that they scored two of the goals from set pieces. And in fact, I wasn't even expecting this from a free kick. I was thinking that there could be a corner kick where they've been very, very good this season. And you see, actually, when a game is very close to call, you expect individual players to show their brilliance. And today, I think aside the free kick from Rice, he was very, very exceptional. But I want to talk about Thomas Partey. In fact, I was thinking that Odegaard would dictate how Arsenal would influence this game, but it was Thomas Partey. Maybe if Nimli was here, he would talk about how tactical Partey was, but he was providing a lot of defensive shield to the back four, where they didn't have Gabriel, and then offensively he was also very good. But I think for the Arsenal side, Rice will be my man of the match. Thomas Partey
definitely
huge difference. Credit to Arsenal. This is the first time in the Champions League game I've seen a team outplay and outscored Real Madrid, and I must say credit to Arsenal. See, I don't know what will happen in the second leg, but it will be so unfair to football if Madrid gets to overturn this particular result. But Arsenal have something to hold on to in the second leg. They might lose the second leg.
Felix. I'm feeling very generous today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give out a jersey, an Arsenal shirt. Who wants to win that Arsenal shirt?
Oh, but you don't have something for our viewers on YouTube?
No, we asked them to predict. So far, nobody got a spot on. So, all right. So, these are two Arsenal shirts. I'm going to ask you questions. Who wants to win an Arsenal shirt? Very simple questions. Who wants to win an Arsenal shirt? Yeah, come.
I know where that stuff.
Charlie, cast it. Yo, what be your name? Kingsley. Wait till we the support.
Man United.
I'm on team the one star.
You slack.
Team Basase.
I say the United fans all day, but we dey hide.
Charlie, go Europa League time no aba.
What team they support?
Some way.
Chelsea.
Oh, how? Who said it's about Chelsea?
Who they support?
Some way. Some way, bro. Charlie, okay, let me ask you. When was the last time Arsenal played Madrid in the Champions League? In which year?
I swear, I don't know. Like if it be 2013.
No, you have two more chances.
Relax.
Yeah.
No, relax.
Then Thierry Henry they play for Arsenal.
Hey, 209.
Nope.
203.
Nope. Hey.
Is it who?
That year Arsenal played Champions League final. Last chance.
Hey, that year he played Champions League final.
Yeah.
Uni. I know. But
you don't win.
I know win. So Relax.
It is which range side?
Wait.
It is which range?
It is a 2000.
Relax. Let me ask some follow-up questions.
Okay.
Did they meet Barca in the final? They met Barca in the final.
That's the only final Arsenal have played. So if they were the final. Nope, at all. Time. You finished. You finished, bro. You didn't know what they just.
I knew it.
Who else? Charlie, make that up. My fans are still there. There's chance. My fans. And I can't ask him something. You make count up.
Comes.
Charlie, they say Thierry Henry. You say 2012. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Okay. In 2006,
Yes.
when Arsenal eliminated Real Madrid, what was the name of Arsenal's assistant coach?
I know.
No way, assistant, bro.
Assistant coach.
Assistant.
I'm joking.
Arsene Junior.
I'm joking. Okay.
Arsenal then get assistant coach.
Assistant. All right. Still on Arsenal and Real Madrid. Now, who scored? I didn't give that a poll. I was going to ask you who scored the deciding goal in that game, but that one is too cheap. All right. What's it?
See, let me ask the
No, I was going to ask who. Okay, ask the question.
Colo started for Arsenal in that game.
Come again.
Colo started as fast in that game.
Who was the centre back partner?
Campbell.
Hey. It wasn't so Campbell.
Next question.
Philip Sandros.
Hey, Charlie.
Sandros. Okay. Name the two strikers for Real Madrid in that game.
The two strikers for Real Madrid. I wanted to name the one who scored the goal in the finals from Arsenal.
No, the two strikers in that game for Real Madrid. No. Like we not go Martin.
Raul.
And Raul and
the two strikers. And the player who came to us, who was playing for Chelsea, Ian Robin.
nope. One final chance. Who else wants to win the jersey? No, you know Damon.
Did you say for Madrid or?
Yeah, the two strikers for Real Madrid.
Okay.
You've named Raul.
Raul, yes.
Who was Raul's strike partner?
2006.
He was a Dutch international.
No, he was not.
Okay, I want this question to be simple.
Let me ask the next question.
Ronaldo.
There were
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Which of the clubs has Betway as sponsors?
West Ham.
Correct.
Even cheap.
Okay. One more to go. Who's going to win this?
Please, I want to win some.
You want to win?
I want to
You're
win
eligible.
Thank you.
I want to win some.
Yeah. He wants to win, so I'm going to ask him. 1 minute, right, was the second goal scored today.
Hey, 1 minute was the second goal scored today.
Yes.
Okay.
Which of the second goals?
There's only a second goal for the Arsenal game.
Hey, bro, I was too busy shouting.
But I give you clue. The second half.
Yeah, obvious. 60-second.
60-second? Nope.
60-second? Nope. 77th.
The second goal? Nope. The second goal?
70th.
Who? I
How is a Madrid fan in a Madrid just a winner?
No. Chinese yours.
If I am on top right now.
No, you see, I for explain. I no be Madrid fan. I be Arsenal hater. Yes, I go.
So what you go do with the shirt?
My woman be Arsenal fan.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Shall I take you up? Fuck, shall I take you up? Can't take your shirt.
The guy they asked, you know, that's what it is.
No, Charlie, make it way out. Make it way out. Make it the way out for top. Make it the way out for top. Make it kiss the back.
Charlie, for what they just you.
For where I'm safe.
For what they just
Yeah, man.
For where I'm safe.
Anyway, this has been the watch along with Betway's Mallam Go podcast. With massive thank you to all of you who have joined. Yeah. So for the online viewers, we're going to pick a winner and contact you for a jersey as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. We want to say a very big thank you to Stephen Apia, Nikki Samonas, Michael Utiej, thank you, Tyree, Coach Nimley, guys, Achu, thank you, Bill Lishon, massive thank you to you. My man, thank you so much for being part of it. Felix Rumak, if all of you have done the watching and all the messages coming through, massive thank you to you. Watch out for a lot more of this as we wrap up the season. Big games are going to come your way on the watch along on Betway's Mallam Go. So guys, thank you very much. Let's do this again very soon and enjoy the rest of the evening. To all the Gunners, you spoiled it.
But it's the second leg.
What are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway. Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs